Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone live Spyfall 2 episode review. And we have another panel here tonight. We have Blue Bonnet Hoovian, we've got Jason Scott, and we've got the Rabbi from another planet. Welcome, guys. Nice to see you all here.
Hello.
Hello.
And we've all watched the episode, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, just to make sure. Blue Bonnet is just looking around. What's going on? What's going on? You all right? She lost her sound. Are you okay there, Blue Bonnet?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, right. We've got plenty to talk about tonight. And I mean, we really have got plenty to talk about tonight. I will just start off and just basically, I don't even know where to start, actually, to be quite honest. So what we'll do is we'll do what we did last week. We'll talk about the good, and then obviously we'll talk about the bad. And I have to say, this week, there's an awful lot of bad to actually talk about. And this is not just me being negative for the sake of being negative. There was truly things in this episode that really annoyed me. So we'll start off with the good. So, okay, so who would like to start this week? Start us off. Who would like to
I'll go.
Okay, Blue Bonnet, go ahead.
If we're talking about the good, Bradley Walsh, the scenes he was in were like awesome. I mean, just the scenes with the shoes was hilarious. You know, how he was dancing and, something about, he was like, you think that's bad, I can do my soft shoe. That was awesome. He was good. He was a highlight. She had toned it down quite a bit. I was shocked by that. But then there's still that, Jodie Whittaker goofiness but I mean, in the scenes that she did, as far as when she was facing the master and when she kneeled, the expression on her face was good, was well acted. I didn't mind that. I actually really loved the scene in the past when she had the telegraph and she was doing the sound of the drums. I actually did enjoy that. I actually really did that. It was very nostalgic, and it brought back the Russell T. Davis era to me. Like I said, I thought her acting was slightly better in this one. It was more toned down to me. The story, though, it just seemed to drag. So really, that's all I could really think of that was good in it. She was toned down. The ending scene, where she's talking to her companions about, who she is. I thought that was good. She left some mystery, which I thought was much better. And if we could just get more of that, I think, she could have been a decent doctor if she could just harness that. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much everything I could think of right off the top of my head that was better.
I forgot to add again, like I did last week. We were 20 minutes in last week, but we're only 3 minutes in this time. I forgot to add, there's going to be a lot of spoilers, actually.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Stream. So if you haven't watched the episode, obviously, and if you are going to watch the episode, I'd advise you not to watch this stream. If you're not going to watch, you're more than welcome.
Yeah,
you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I mean,
it's better just to watch the stream than watch the episode.
Yeah,
that would be my recommendation to all of you out there. Just watch the stream, save yourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And the master was good. That was really pretty much.
Yeah, master was actually very good. I actually thought Sasha upped it again this week. But we will get into him because some people on this panel have a problem with the way he was written, and we'll get into that as well because that is a fair point. Jason, would you like to tell us what you found good about this week's episode?
If there was anything that I thought was good, it would be, surprisingly, the writing. I think the positive for me in the last episode was a lot of the writing. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. For this episode, I was surprised a bit because I found myself being a little, there was less irritation with Jodie than the last episode, and there was a little more. There was actually much more frustration with the episode itself, the writing. And for her, though, I mean, a positive was there's instances where she actually shut up and didn't smile and acted, like the wheels were turning, but she didn't exactly know what she was thinking. And during those points, for example, a prime example of that, which I found very entertaining, for different reasons other than just entertainment value, like in a, I thought it was fun. It wasn't fun, but it was entertaining. It was nice to see at the end, the last scene when the companions had questions for her. She was obviously deep in thought and disturbed, but it's the way she reacted to their inquisition, which was she really didn't want to talk, and she kind of was aloof, which is extremely unusual for Jodie Whittaker. When does she ever shut up, and when do you not know what she's thinking? When does she ever not have when does she ever employ a filter? So I thought it was interesting to see her act a little, you didn't quite know, she didn't really tell him what was on her mind. She acted very aloof, and I got the sense that, hey, this is a person who's kind of deep in thought. And that's what I think is sorely lacking with her character. And, if they could employ a little more of that and sprinkle that heavily throughout her character and throughout the episodes, I think that would go a long way to for her portraying the character in a way that gives it a little more gravitas. Because there are moments that I also thought were good where she didn't smile, and she was when she was kneeling, she just didn't seem there were moments where she didn't have this carefree, I'm just going to say whatever, it's just going to ramble out of my lips, I don't give a crap, it just no filter. And then there were moments where she seemed to be a little more reflective, and so that was a positive for me. But the episode itself, we'll get into that, the writing itself, we'll get into that later, because that is a sticking point.
Yeah, we will. Rob Boy, what did you think of this week's episode? I know you weren't a fan.
I was not a fan of this. I think this is perhaps my least favorite Jodie episode, which makes it my least favorite episode of Doctor Who, which maybe makes it my least favorite episode of TV ever. I'm not sure. I really, really, really dislike. There were good elements to this, but everything was layered with like just utter crap. it was like, yeah, let's say you got some like nice jelly they put in a sandwich, and then you have a layer of like the vile crap over it, and then you have like another layer of something that's okay. You can't get the taste of like the awfulness. I mean, it's like you have to like try and wade through. It's like, oh, this bit underneath this bit of awfulness was actually not so bad, but there's all that awfulness going on. I can't even focus on anything good. I mean, it's very hard. Let me think. I kind of like this master. I kind of like how this. I like Sasha, whatever his name is, as a master. I think he'll be much better in a Big Finish production than this one. I would have really preferred him to be the Doctor. It's very hard.
You're really
I was going to say Graham, but Blue Bonnet. Was it Blue Bonnet Hoovian?
Blue Bonnet.
Your name just vanished from my screen, so I don't.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say. And you said, I'm like, oh, that's it. That's me gone. That's everything. I don't have anything else. So wow. Graham wasn't bad.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, positives. Sasha, obviously, every time he's on screen, just for me, that's wherever scene he was in was elevated. I just think he's a terrific actor. Also, I just want to actually say how he has embraced this fandom has been nothing short but absolutely amazing. He has really he's done it the proper way. He has endured. He has. How do I put it? He has been welcomed into fans' hearts because the way he has acted. He hasn't come out with any political garbage. He has just done what he's had to do, and he is well respected now, I have to say. He's brilliant. what else can I say? To see, I think this episode was pretty average. It was pretty mundane until the last 15 minutes. Actually, I did like the scene where we figured out how she knew the plane was going to crash. Do you know when they did that? She left the little jigsaw pieces for Ryan to figure out how to fly the plane, and
that was
very
stupid time travel stuff. That's a very classic Sylvester McCoy Doctor thing to do.
It's also perfect to play.
I actually did like that because I remember McCoy's era a little bit better than Davison. So, you know, for me, I was a little bit older, so that was kind of nice. I didn't mind that.
But then you have Jode doing it, and it's just I can't buy anything from her. You know, it's just like good idea, but then you have like this elephant of suck in the room, making it fall apart.
Graham, I'll agree with Blue Bonahuvian. Graham with the laser shoes is actually pretty awesome. Actually, that is funny. I mean, yeah, we all love Graham, and to see with Graham when they get him to do stuff, you know, something like that, it's actually pretty good. I actually like that.
Oh, that was a bit I liked when they landed and they're in Essex, and he was like, "Oh, this is my gaff."
Yeah,
that was my favorite bit of the episode.
That is funny. Graham does have some good moments in this. Even Ryan does. But we'll get into Yaz when we're talking about the bad, because she's in the bad category because she's become redundant as far as I'm concerned. But we'll get into that. But what else can I say positive? Well, we were kind of wrong about the villains. We still don't know, but they weren't Cybermen so far. But as the rabbi pointed out, we don't know yet. They could end up being Cybermen, so we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah,
I mean, I kind of like the idea that there's a certain element of mystery surrounding these villains, and I kind of like that personally. Yeah. I mean, I don't like when, it's sort of like Star Wars and learning about the midichlorians. There's a certain amount of mystery surrounding these villains that they don't have to know every single thing about what makes them tick. And, I think keeping a certain amount of mystery surrounding them personally, and everybody's different, but personally, and you don't want to do that regarding the plot of a show, but when it comes to the mystery surrounding a villain and when you know every single thing about them that makes them tick, it kind of leaves nothing left to the imagination. And that's what kind of creates suspense for me, but that's me. But I enjoyed that. Maybe I don't have a good grasp of exactly what they are, but I know that they're pretty evil, or at least they have a pretty deleterious effect on people.
Mm.
Well, but are they evil? Because they were the ones in control of everything.
Well, that's why I corrected myself, because I don't know that they're evil, but they have a pretty deleterious effect on people.
Yeah. And there has to be something about them if they made the deal with the master in the first place.
Yeah.
But he got a trick, but he probably tricked them. We thought, there still is a mystery. I do like that there is still a mystery surrounding these villains, and that we actually don't know everything about them. Because it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But again, for me, right, it was Spyfall Part 1 was the better episode, but the last 10 minutes of that episode were truly great. Right, he's managed to do the same thing, but this episode's been worse. But the last 15 minutes of this episode were better. They were great. I think it's the best Chibnall writing that we've gotten, and that's still not saying much. But right here, look, because we're all struggling to find really good things to say. We'll have plenty to say on what was bad. So
I mean, I'll add one more.
Right, go on.
One more positive, which was I really enjoyed the scene where Bradley Walsh was, Tosin Cole was basically telling him dance, and he had those laser shoes on, and he was shooting at those dudes that were trying to round him up. I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, we all agree.
I just got sent a message there. I don't think Starry-Eyed Girl will be joining us tonight, so we'll just
continue on.
Carry on.
We'll continue on. Okay. Let me see. Right, so I just want to see some of the comments here. Who have we got? We've got, yeah, the enthusiasm is underwhelming. I mean, we're trying to be positive here. I mean, look, it is still better than that was written in Series 11.
Oh yeah.
But that's not saying much.
Yeah.
I
bar's
really don't
low.
think it is. I really don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's better. They have villains and monsters in it, which makes it good. But they just have this, the this identity politics agenda that whenever you say it to a Jodie fan, they go, "What identity politics agenda? None of that exists." It was, for me, it was just dripping through every pore of this episode. It seems to be about Doctor Who. You know, it seems to be like one of those awful comics that Marvel are putting out now, which your boy Zach reviews. I never read them because it sounds like it's like the Mighty Wasp and Miss Marvel. It's all like, it's all this like fabulous women being fabulous and being strong and brilliant and everything. So the Doctor, the Doctor now recruits these two fabulous women of science to then go fight. And like, oh God, really?
For me, though, I think, look, I agree with you that the the ideology runs through both series. I grant you that. I totally agree, 100%, no question. I guess where I guess from my perspective, this actually felt like a sci-fi theme. There was a sci-fi element to this that I just felt was sorely lacking in season 11. That I didn't really get a sci-fi. It was just missing. It was just sorely lacking this sci-fi element. And so when you extract that from the episodes and see, for me, they just didn't have enough sci-fi bent. It was, a lot of it was very terrestrial and, No.
Okay. Good evening, Chris. Nice to have you actually all on board. And don't forget, there's going to be plenty of spoilers in this review. Right, let's get straight down to it. Let's talk about what was awful about this episode. Firstly, I'm going to just say that Yasmin Khan, as a character, for me, is redundant. There was a couple of, actually, there was 3 scenes in particular. Now, remember, this character is supposed to be a police officer. And if you were to watch this and you didn't know this character's background, you wouldn't think that this person was a police officer. 3 times she made simple mistakes. And again, Manip Gill, I don't know what it is about her, but she's like Jodie Whittaker. She has no screen presence either. The sooner they kill her off, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Because she just brings the whole thing. No. Her, Jodie Whittaker, it's just, I'm sorry, it's bad for Bradley Walsh. Bradley Walsh is there and he's probably looking around him saying, what have I got myself into? Because he is clearly the best actor that they have in the main cast, by far. Right. So they're on the run, right? She had Ryan is the smart one. Ryan gets her to smash their phones, as you would do when you're on the run. And then Yasmin Khan gets I don't know if it's her mobile phone, but she ends up with a mobile phone and she rings home to her. No, sorry, before he smashes the phone, she's ringing her mother, right? After being told by Lenny Henry's character that their faces are all over the news. People are actually taking photos of them on their bleeding, what you call them? Their Apple iPods, wherever you want to bleed and call it, iPads, whatever, right? Going around taking photographs of them, right? And what does that plonker do? She's a copper. She gets on the phone, starts ringing them out. Is everybody all right? And then he's like, Tolson calls, is like, Ryan is like, what you doing? Grabs her phone and then smashes it, right? That's fine. You think, right, one mistake. She's obviously in a bit of a panic. She didn't know what she was doing. But then she goes and does it again at a telephone box, right? And then they get tracked. And because
but she did that on purpose the second time.
I don't know. Did she do
I know that was their plan, wasn't it? I can't remember. Wasn't that their plan to get the to be caught by that car so he could use his laser shoes to to steal the car, but then they told them exactly what they were doing. Then then Ryan told them exactly what they were doing.
They're gonna do, and then she says, "Don't tell them the plan."
Right.
But then they go into the hangar, and she's at this screen, right? And Lenny Henry's basically telling telling the audience what he's going to be doing. That the audience, that the world's going to get an upgrade. And then I thought, oh, it's Cybermen. But then it turned out to be something completely different. Bit of lightning came out of the phones and was going through their bodies, and it was changing their DNA. And then what does Yasmin Khan do?
Leap right into that
she puts her hand on the screen, so then it starts happening to her. Seriously, her character is redundant. She doesn't come across as a police officer. I don't think Chris Chibnall knows how to write police officers, but you think he would because he did Broadchurch and he wrote detectives, but he obviously doesn't get it because her character is just, I don't get the point. She just, even today, she just seemed to be shoehorned in. They're a companion too much, in my opinion. And if one of them was to get the chop, she needs to go. I'm sorry, but for me, she was one of the worst things about this episode. And I'll get into other stuff because I've ranted for about 5 minutes now. And I'll give one of you guys another turn. So anything that you, well, I know there's plenty you will have to say. Who wants to start first? Blue Bonnie, you can start again first.
The scenes with just the companions, other than Bradley Walsh, was completely boring, and just I thought they focused way too much on that. I know there was a need for that, but it was boring. I thought they focused too much on them, and the scenes in the past, I thought that those went on a little too long. But other than the scenes with the Master, I felt like some of it was just unneeded. That some of the characters could have been left out. It drug on way too long. And then it would be okay. I could deal with it until she started chatting incessantly about every move she's going to make. And so then I found myself getting really angry. And then she would calm down and I could get through it. But it was those scenes in the past when she was just chatting incessantly about every move that she's going to make, and we all know, like, it was like listening to the most annoying instructor. And I just found myself getting really angry. And the other parts that I absolutely hated, I hated when they showed the TARDIS. It was so distracting and it's so ugly that it's such a I guess it's just being picky, but it just seeing the middle the middle thing go up and down with the crystal that matches the stupid sonic screwdriver, it just really made me angry. And I know it's just like, it's I don't know what's the word. It's superficial to pick on something like that, but it really annoyed me, and it's very distracting. That is the ugliest TARDIS I've ever seen inside.
By the way, before we came on air, and I forgot to say to you guys, but I could say to you now, an article has been dropped by The Express, which is a UK paper, and they have said that Jodie Whittaker will live after this series.
Oh, thank God. Yes.
Now, obviously, it's not confirmed by the BBC, and articles will come out like this, especially when the ratings have been low. The rumours will come out. But I have been saying this since January. And the reason why I've kept stuck to me guns is because I do believe that she's still going to live. Because, look, it doesn't matter what happens. As I said, even if this series is an improvement, the damage was done in Series 11. Now, it's already been proved that the downward trend is still continuing because the first episode from Resolution is down. Now, it will be interesting to see the overnights tomorrow. See, will there be a halt in that? And we will get into the ratings a little bit later on, and we'll all speculate what we think the ratings will be for this episode. But again, Jodie Whittaker for me, I'm going to say it again. There was a few times where she did actually get it spot on, and I did say it off air, so I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be truthful here, and I'm going to say it on air. There were a few scenes where she did convince me, but for me, she's inconsistent, and she's still well out of her. I'm sorry, she's well out of her. She shouldn't have been given this role. It's not her fault, but she was given it. But she is way out of our league. But I will agree with Jason. If she's given more kind of serious material instead of the kind of jokey stuff that she's getting, I think our Doctor would fare better with the audience, to be quite honest with you. Now, I'm not saying people would fully back her as the Doctor, but they wouldn't be cringing every time she's on screen. I think people would say, okay, she's not the greatest Doctor, but I get it. It's because she is. There's a few factors. It's the way she's written, and it's obviously the way she's acting the role herself. Now, the writing has improved slightly from Series 11. Obviously, Rabbi doesn't agree, which is fair enough. I just couldn't sit through Series 11 without falling asleep, but I haven't fallen asleep so far. So for me, that's an improvement. So if
it's better in that it has monsters and villains. That was like a major thing missing from season 11, monsters and villains. But they also had this like crushing preachiness, which they've doubled down on now in this episode. I can't stand the preaching. I don't need people working in the entertainment industry to lecture me on morality. You're probably far more immoral people than I know. Yeah, I probably don't know anybody as scummy as you just because you work in the entertainment industry. I just don't need it. I don't need it. And I don't like, so yeah, it's better. Yeah, they do have monsters and villains, which makes it much better. But like the damn preaching it, I forget it. And I'm, in terms of talking about what could be done to make it better, yeah, there are plenty of things that she could do to be better. But she's 2 years in. We've given her a chance. Like I gave her a total. Like I really was on board for her when she started. It wasn't until episode 5 when I went, oh my god, of last year of season 11, I went, this is really awful, and it's just stayed awful. But like. It's not, and like now they're reporting she's leaving. She's not. No, it's never going to get better. That's like a moot discussion. Nothing's going to happen to make it approach this role any differently.
Actually, something I want to ask is about the episode, right? Because there was obviously a throwback to RTD's era. Actually, very heavily, there was a lot of throwbacks. But the one in particular where the Doctor was wiping the mind of the women. So. I mean, David Tennant's Doctor warned Donna's granddad that she mustn't remember what happened because if she does, her mind will explode or whatever it was. And we've seen it happen. I mean, does anybody not think that was reckless what Jodie's Doctor did? Just wipe their mind and not. Because what if something else happened that triggers that and then bang?
Well, Peter Capaldi was going to do it with Bill, but he she stopped him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it would be the same issue if he had done that to her. I mean, we'd have the same issue as, but I think the difference is because Donna, it was like she had,
I get that, yeah.
Tardis energy. Yeah.
Maybe I am just being picky because I just can't. But,
yeah, but Donna had Tardis energy, so that was why. Yeah, but, she was the Dr. Donna.
Yeah, she
well, I mean, he had to erase the mind of the one from World War II because she met quite a sticky end in a place that you shouldn't mention on YouTube because you'll be demonetized if this is monetized. Like, I can understand her wiping her mind, but why wipe the other one?
Ada Lovelace?
Yeah.
That would have been far more interesting.
Because all she told her was she said computer, and she asked her what computer was. So it's not like she told her a lot of information.
Bloody computer. It's okay for her to,
Right. Right. I mean that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. I didn't understand why she did. She did her because she didn't really give her that many information. She saw things that, were unexplainable. But
I'm just gonna say, the more I watch this era, the more depressed I'm getting. I'm actually getting depressed. Right, let's address this whole Gallifrey business, right? Because I need to get this out, right? So the last 15 minutes, this was me, right? And I was crying. I wasn't going to say it, but I'm going to tell you. I was literally in bits watching that last 15 minutes. Now, all I just want to ask Chris Chibnall is why RTD got rid of Gallifrey and Moffat tried his best. Now, he didn't fully succeed, but he brought back Gallifrey anyway, and I know fans have issue with the way he did it and stuff, and that'll be a big debate for another time. But he did it. He brought Gallifrey back. And now Chris Chibnall has decided not only to get rid of Gallifrey, by the way, the Master nuked Gallifrey. Nuked, right? She goes back to Gallifrey, and we see Gallifrey in tatters. Now, her face when she's seeing Gallifrey, I believed it 100% because I was sitting there, tears streaming down me. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I seem to be getting very emotional lately over things. I got emotional over that ET ad, or that was out just before Christmas. I got emotional over the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. I don't know what it is, but I was getting very highly emotional over this. Now, apparently, Starry-Eyed Girl can't come on tonight because she's very upset about what happened in tonight's episode. Now, okay. I've actually seen a few people out there that actually are upset as well. Now, I don't know what it is. I can't explain why I got upset, but I was an absolute.
Probably because if you really think about it, at the time I wasn't thinking about it out, because it seems like just like Star Wars, it seems like Chibnall's trying to destroy the past, and that could be why. Because if you think about it, Moffat brought back Gallifrey. Now Chibnall's trying to destroy it again. And and I mean that's the only thing I can figure. I mean,
I think he's doing the opposite of that. I think he's trying to get back to an era of Doctor Who when it was much more popular and successful. So I think he's trying to get all those member berries of like the sound of drums. There's a lot of
right. And
stuff
even when she was on the script, even when she they saw the video in the plane, it reminded me of Blink. It reminded me of the Blink scene. And so I mean I can see that, but I mean. I understand why people are worried by that ending, though, because
that's not
like
even
you're
the
trying
worst
to
of
retcon
it.
Something, huh?
That's not even the worst of it.
The
whole thing about everything was a lie. I think they're going to undo all of Doctor Who history.
By the way,
that's really what's going to happen.
I want to give a shout out to Gary from Neurotics because a couple of months ago, I said this off air. I'm going to say it. A couple of months ago, he came forward with a video that actually got an emotional reaction from a lot of the fans, if you remember at the time. And it was this rumor that they were going to basically retcon the male regenerations and basically say that the female regenerations were the very first regenerations. Now, if you watch the end of that episode of Spyfall 2 or the last 15 minutes, if you are people that aren't going to watch this episode or are not watching this era, I would implore you to watch the last 15 minutes though, right? Then you'll understand what we're saying here. But it looks very much like that this is an avenue that is possible now with that ending. And this is what worries me now because then I just can't speak anymore.
Okay, no. I'm going to tell you something that's going to hopefully make you feel better. It's all going to be okay, but it's going to take a long time. Hey, do you remember the Teletubby Daleks? Right? They were going to be the new Daleks, and they look great in pictures and in action figures and everything, except for when you saw them on screen. As soon as they came on screen, they're like, that was ridiculous. And then it all went away. Whatever they do.
Just pushed them to the side, didn't he?
Exactly.
I know, but this is too big to just push to the side. This is the big one.
I think this season's going to be so incredibly unpopular. I really do. I think it's going to continue losing viewers. I think it's going to be incredibly unpopular. And when they come back again with whoever the next Doctor is, they're gonna just want to wash the stank of this. This is gonna be like Paul McGann being was it half human on his mother's side. Yeah. It's just gone. It's just gone. That was canon. Now it's not.
But I do think if they had started with this episode in season, if this was the first episode or the first story in season 11, I think you might have seen the ratings. There would have been probably a little more expectation for the second season, but when they corrupted the season 11 with, the crap that they they impregnated it with.
That's what I mean. Even as I said before, even if this is Series 12 does end up being a massive improvement on Series 11, it's already tainted with Series 11's crap and with the rhetoric that's come out of Chris Chibnall's mouth and Jodie Whittaker. Now, Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall had 2 days before the series dropped, right? And they had done everything pretty much okay. They had kept quiet. Right now, I know as fans we were kind of like, well, they should have been out there promoting or whatever stuff. But the fact that they stayed quiet to me was actually a good thing, because we weren't listening to all that rhetoric that was coming out of Jodie's mouth. 2 days before the show drops, they dropped that article. So I don't. I'm this close to being done with Doctor Who now.
Well, aren't you of the opinion that you're just done with this doctor and this series, the series that involves her? Wouldn't you say you're just done with that? You're just this close to being done with it, and when she's out of the picture, you'll kind of wait and see what happens.
I don't know. It's killing this era is actually killing my passion for Doctor Who.
I mean, if they came back with a good doctor and they had a different showrunner, and it looked pretty good, I'm sure that'd draw you back in, even if you threw your arms up in disgust.
Well,
I reckon that could draw you back in. I really do. Okay, imagine this. The Doctor regenerates. The first line of the new Doctor was like, oh my God, that was awful. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, that would definitely bring a lot of people back.
Yeah, and then you're like, this looks terrible. Let's change it.
Listen. If they started off, if the new Doctor started off with that line, then I'm back.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Here's the thing. It'll never happen because BBC will never admit that they made a mistake. And if you think that a new showrunner is going to come in and just ignore this, he's not going to be allowed to ignore this. He will have to acknowledge this era, whether we like it or not, right? And as fans, we can ignore it, right? And we could say it's not canon. The fact is, it is canon, right? And the fact is, it's part of the show's history now, and they're not going to ignore that. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how low this show goes in ratings, they will not ignore this or deny this as part of canon.
Yeah,
the best we can hope for.
But what, you can write your way out of anything if you have a bit of talent. You can write your way out of it. You really can. You know, like you can have that. You can have it revealed that. Okay, right now this is canon. I agree with you. But it's going to come and go. Yeah, I've been a Doctor Who fan for coming on for how old am I now? I'm nearly 50. I've been a Doctor Who fan for about over 40 years. Stuff comes and goes.
I don't see them turning their back on a female doctor, though, and saying, look, it never happened, or they write it in a way where it appears that this was some sort of disturbance. This is some sort of anomaly. I don't see it, but I do think that it probably will come and go, like you're saying, Rabbi. I think it will come and go. I just don't, I don't see them looking back and writing in a new episode, like say the next Doctor comes along, it's a man, and the regeneration episode, he looks down, lifts the bands with pants, pulls it away from his stomach, and goes, whoo! I just don't see it.
Right.
Even something as small as that, right, would actually draw some fans back.
It really would.
It's a little tiny, it's not a whole recognition that they got it wrong, but it's a tiny little thread to say, okay, maybe we should have listened, but we're gonna make it good now, right? We're gonna try make amends, but they don't seem that. Even the rhetoric that's coming. Look, I've noticed something last week as well after Spyfall, right? I know we said it was very much an improvement, but the amount of tweets that I had seen, amount of posts, amount of YouTube creators that I've seen hype this episode out of is unbelievable. The overhyping the goodness of this episode.
Oh, of course.
Episode 1 was good. Episode 2 to me was average, and the longer this goes on, I'm sorry, but I'm even now talking about it's making me sick. I just. This is not just Jodie Whittaker. It's not just Jodie Whittaker. There's so many things wrong with this. There's just so many bad elements, and it's not going to get any better unless the two main elements that I think that need to be taken out of that equation is Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker. But hopefully that news article now is the start of it. But this just could be a rumor, so I have to actually say that again, because some were saying, "Oh, she's gone." No, it's an article saying that she's actually gone after Series 12. But I have been saying it on this channel since January. Other YouTubers that originally were saying it have actually changed their tune, and they're saying that she's actually sticking around. But I've always stuck to my guns and said that I do believe she's going to go, because I don't see this getting any better. As I said, even if the show does improve, the damage was done in Series 11. Fans have turned their backs on this show, whether BBC like it or not. And this episode is going to do them no favours. I'm sorry, but it's not. Let's talk, right? Let's get it out there. Timeless child bollocks again.
My prediction on when she's going to go, I think she's filmed a regeneration, but I think it's going to be the New Year's Day episode.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be the holiday episode. It won't be this season. It will. Yeah. She's there, and then I think they've already filmed it. Question is Chibnall going to go? I think Chibnall's going to stay.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
Really upset about it.
What we've been told is Chibnall is going to stay, but but when the rumor surfaced that, this is what happened when they started to promote the series. Obviously, Jodie Whittaker in interviews has been telling people that she's sticking around. Now, obviously, she's under contract and she would have to say she's sticking around because you can't do anything to damage the show. But in fairness, if she actually had said that she was leaving, I think there'd be a lot more people watching because they know she's going.
Right, be like they would know it's her final seat. Yeah,
exactly.
Something to look forward to.
But they haven't played it that way.
If she's in the next year's New Year's Day special, whenever they're going to do it, she's told the truth. She said, "I'm in there. She said, I'm doing."
Yeah, she's not lying,
and she's telling the truth. She's doing next year's one, but hopefully just one episode.
That's what I've always said, and people are saying, but no, because it technically would be 3 years. If she does that special in that new year, that's our third year. They can done. And I've always said it, and we've said it on this channel as well. We were the first ones to actually say on this channel that she had filmed a regeneration scene. It looks like the sources that I've had have been pretty spot on. We even got the Spyfall information spot on. I mean, look, I've been consistently saying she's gone, and I know the information has changed from other people, but I've always stuck to my guns, and I do believe she's going to go because even these ratings are just not good enough for her to stick around. I'm sorry. Even if the writing is an improvement, BBC will look at that. And for all those people out there that are saying that overnights count for nothing, well, there's so many of the J-bots out there defending them, so much of the media defending them. Why would they be defending them if they actually mean nothing? Because they do mean something. And the BBC know that they mean something. The media know, and their fans know that it means something. So tomorrow's ratings... If it's lower than 4.88, Doctor Who
it's going to be lower than 4.88.
Well, if it is, it's gone. If it is, Rabbi, I will say this: Doctor Who is on its last legs. It's game over. It cannot get any lower. I actually thought there'd be an improvement this week, but after watching that, I don't know. Slight improvement. I'm thinking just under 5 million.
Unless there's some miraculous, unless some miracle occurs, and the next episodes subsequent this one are just absolutely, great. I don't see I don't see the trajectory changing much. And if Chibnall, if either one of if they both stay,
it's over.
It's done. They need to go. Both of them need to go. You can't have, it's not going to work with either one. You can't, even if Jodie Whittaker leaves, his writing, if this is indicative of the quality of the writing for the rest of the season, and that's the best he can do, it's not going to work even with a great doctor, because he's writing a lot of the companions and the doctor, the master. I mean, there's just issues that, good acting can't fix. And, likewise, even if you get rid of Chibnall and you have, let's say you hired you hired Peter Jackson, you had Steven Spielberg, you hired the best of the best guys in Hollywood to step in and pick up the pieces on the directing and the producing and the writing side. Even if you had every element in the episode perfect. As long as Jodie, and here comes Jodie, they're going to inject Jodie Whittaker into that. A perfect episode, a perfect script. You're going to put her in that? Unless there's some miracle that happens and God intervenes, or she somehow, someone hypnotizes her and
a better actor.
And is able to improve her acting, and raise it to the level of just being acceptable. It's not gonna. I mean, I don't see how in God's name it's going to get a passing grade.
About everything. You're so right. Like, I'm just trying to imagine her in a great episode. I imagine her in like Tunnels of Wen Chiang or
my God, or Genesis of the Daleks. Oh my God.
Here's another thing. Think of it this way: take your favorite movie of all time. Take your favorite movie of all time. Any movie you can imagine that has the best actors, best people. Put her in the leading role and tell me what happens to that awesome movie. Tell me what happens to your favorite movie with her and
Alien. Can you imagine her Alien?
The first Alien movie was a B movie. This wouldn't even be a B movie. It's B movie.
Right.
I was imagining her in Apocalypse Now.
Oh
no. Right.
That's because of a comedy.
So what? I guess my point is this: the best writing, the best production, the best directing can't save the franchise as long as she is acting at her ability at this point. There's no way.
And I've noticed some people up on Twitter are saying how this is the episode where she became the Doctor.
They said that.
Again, last 2 years in.
They've been saying that for.
Now, if it's, as I said, if it's taken 2 years,
that's bad. Bad.
But you know what? I'm not going to slag you for it. If that's what happened for you tonight, I'm very disappointed in humanity. But well done. For me, this is this series so far is actually killing any passion that I have for this show. And I think by the end of it, I'm going to need some psychiatric help.
I need Valium.
To be honest, we need something. I actually thought I was quite optimistic after last week. I really was. And then this episode was just, nothing really happened in it, though. It was just
they didn't even explain, like, Lenny Henry's character's like, why was he even involved? Maybe I missed it, but like, I understand why he was all.
What was his motivation?
What was his motivation to be involved with the Master?
Why did he want to destroy the human race?
Right,
and his mother.
They never really explained that.
Other than he's a psychopath.
Maybe because he's not a white man. They want to say it's not just evil white men.
Right.
It's just men. Okay, fine. It's not.
I'm still obsessed with male patriarchy in this.
Let's be honest, it doesn't matter what the race, it's still an evil man.
And you had Sacha Dhawan, who's Indian. Men are evil. It's not white men. They completely changed. Now I get it.
Someone says Twitter's full of crazy people. Well, you're right, because I'm on Twitter and I'm pretty crazy. So yeah, but I'm being honest with you. I'm just totally gutted for this show right now.
And I guess that's the thing that kind of just is depressing, is because, again, even if you have an excellent master, even if you have a great story, even if all these elements were in place, again, that's the depressing part, because we can address those. We can be fair and balanced and say, look, even if the story was great, we can say the story was great, this and that were great, all. But as far as Jodie being the centerpiece of the show, it's like, so what?
Yeah. John Guggen, yes, Lenny Henry did kill his mother in the show. Yeah, it was actually
for no apparent reason.
For no reason other than.
I mean, she was the first. She was a test subject, from what I gathered.
It was kind of like he wanted her to say she was proud of him, but you could see that she had a bit of. They obviously didn't have a great relationship, right? So, and then he just has no problem just murdering his mother. Yeah, we might as well point that out. Oh, and the fact that there was Nazis in it as well. The Master was a Nazi as well, by the way. And I did like I have to say now, I will say one thing, and I know this has kind of pissed a few people off, but I did like the Tardis house going through the time vortex. I thought.
Oh yeah, I like that too. Actually, that was really cool.
That was actually.
Although you know what, like his Tardis should have changed shape. Like, is Comedian Circus broken as well?
Oh, good point. Oh, but he could have done it himself though. He could have done it himself.
Yeah, but
still, it hasn't been explained, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the Master is going to get out of the predicament that he's actually in now.
All right. Well, I do think they're whatever the name of the aliens. I think they're going to come back, and I think we're going to see more of what's going on with them.
Yeah, he'll probably do something to convince them to help him again, because that's what the Master does anyway. It'll just be I just don't know. But
does anyone here remember the name of the villain?
Oh,
it was I want to say
Cavilian or something.
Clausen or something like.
What were they called, Rabbi? No,
I thought they were Clausen or something.
I thought it was Cavilian or Carillion.
Yeah, that what you said, Jason. What was that?
Cavilion.
Yeah, something like that was.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
I was totally off. I was thinking it was like Clausen.
Yeah, the light people. Yeah. Yeah, so, well, I suppose it's better than a talking frog, and it's definitely...
Oh, yeah, oh my God, yes.
and we had Nazis, so, I mean, Nazis have no place.
It's almost an episode.
Has there, I didn't see all of season, has there been a female villain yet?
No.
Season 11?
Yeah, was there a female villain?
You had, what's the name? The witch hunters. You had a woman who was a little bit mean.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit mean.
Yeah, a little bit.
Slightly mean.
And then you had like this alien god-like character. One of them was a girl who was used by the evil teeth monster guy. Yeah.
But she was used, so...
Yeah, she's by an evil man.
Right.
She wasn't responsible for her own
she was
evil.
used by the male patriarchy.
There you go. The Casavan.
Casavan, okay.
There we go. Yeah. See that? It was so memorable that we actually all remembered. See, this is what Chris just see. I suppose I've had a couple of days to kind of assess the first Spyfall. And you put these two episodes together, they're chalk and cheese. To be quite honest with you, one is actually not bad at all, which is the first.
Well, you can tell they got different directors.
And the second one, there was just a lot of talking in it, and a lot of nothing really. The plane scene was pretty cool, actually. But to remotely control a plane from your telephone was a bit of a stretch for me. Well, guys, look, you've heard what I think is wrong with this. So I could go on all night, actually, just go on a 3-hour epic rant about this whole episode, actually. But is there anything else you didn't like besides Yasmin Khan and obviously the obvious Jodie Whittaker?
Yeah, right.
Let me count the ways. I didn't like the. I really didn't like the what I would call social engineering of having all these incredible women of science or valor of science form a super team, and they said how they. And by the way, did you notice that the Doctor didn't actually do anything to save the day? It was the radio operator woman.
Yeah.
So I really hated that. I hated there was like other couple of things in it as well. What was it? I said my brain's rebelling. It's trying to forget. I had to stop myself, give myself a lobotomy with a knitting needle, so I forget this. But what else?
Well, there was also a scene that's kind of close to that where Ada was, she was helping the Doctor, and the evil man said, you can't do that.
No. Yeah. It was the scene where where Ada was firing off what looked like a makeshift Gatling gun at the Master. Remember that?
Right. That's not for a woman. There's a couple lines like that.
Right.
But what struck me with that scene was the Doctor's response was I don't approve. Yeah. It's like, the guy's out to kill you. He's shrinking people. You might want to,
By the way,
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That whole scene was actually amazing. I actually thought. I mean, that entrance of Sasha was amazing when he walked into that room.
But why didn't he shrink the Doctor as well? All he wanted to do was kill the Doctor.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
And that's the first time he saw the Doctor. Yeah, you mentioned it. It was the first time he saw the Doctor after he found out she was alive and she didn't know how. and he's got the tick like just shrink her down a little bit.
Yeah,
do it now.
Had a perfect opportunity. He had all the time in the world.
Yeah, but the Master never really takes the perfect opportunity, and that's been shown throughout history. So
yeah, but what about the plane when he wanted to blow it up and send the Master to oblivion?
Yeah, there's a couple of
I think we'll just blame Chibnall.
If I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, like 5 years ago, one day you'll be rooting for Nazis to murder the Doctor.
I never thought I'd see the day. I never thought I'd see the day. Seriously.
Oh.
Right, I'm just going to give the rating for this episode before we continue talking about, because we still have plenty to talk about. But my rating for this episode, I think I gave Spyfall Part 1 a 6.5. This one gets a 2. It's not getting any higher than a 2. And I'm not going to be convinced by anybody that this was good, because it was absolutely average. Now, I will say Cheryl did enjoy it. And of course, it's kind of funny when you live with someone that actually likes something that you hate, but we get through it anyway because we're adults. But yeah, I did not like this. Jodie Whittaker for me and Manip Gill. As this series goes on, you're just going to see them getting weaker and weaker, because I think that's just the way they're written, but also because they don't have the screen presence to carry off certain scenes. Now, I will say Jodie Whittaker's performance, again, I will agree with Blue Bonnet Hoovian. It is toned down, and it has toned down for this series. But the thing about it is she's still not being properly written. And then when she does get dialogue, in some scenes, she hits the nail on the head and she's actually okay. And then in other scenes, to me, she's just all over the place. And he gives her ridiculous dialogue, which just throws me off. It's always that when she does a series, he'll throw in this ridiculous piece of dialogue that throws me off completely, and that's down to Chris Chibnall. But she's way out of her depth. So is Manip Gill. It's only getting a 2. It might actually next week, I might even feel worse. It might even get a 1. It was that bad as far as I'm concerned. The last 15 minutes, again, I will say Chibnall, for some weird reason, the last 15 minutes of these first 2 episodes have actually been pretty okay. Well, pretty good. I won't lie. They've been pretty good, but still, that last 15 minutes of that Spyfall 2 is just at the putting an awful thought in my head, and I just don't like where I think it's going. I just don't like where it's going, and if it goes there, Doctor Who's dead. It's dead. It's finished.
It could be even worse than you think, because they could do everything you think they're going to do, and they'll have a love story between Yaz and the Doctor.
They could go all sorts of ways with it.
I mean, I think it's more a likelihood that they're going to bring the Master back for Yaz, but I don't think they'll do the whole. Hopefully, they won't do the Doctor and Yaz.
Well, the Master will appear again in this series. It's not the last we've seen of him anyway. He is coming back. That's a guarantee. He will return. But it's again, even him coming back is not going to save this show. Next week's episode is going to be interesting again, because obviously it'll be the first time one of these writers will get a go. And already I've seen the trailer. So the guy from The In-Betweeners has green hair. He looks like he has a wig on, a green wig. And then right at the end, we've seen this alien-looking hand. So the next episode is going to be, and again, people are going to link back to Midnight RTD. It was not an RTD episode. Midnight?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So Donna was in a spa in that episode, and this episode is actually going to be in a spa. So there seems to be a lot of throwbacks, and I think that's what Chris Chibnall has actually done. Rabbi has mentioned it. Remember Barry Sklar? That's what it is. It's. Do you know what? You know what's making this right? I think I know what it is. What's making this a little bit better is the fact that there's all villains in that, and there's a few throwbacks in it. And I'm not going to be fooled by that, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not going to be fooled by it. I knew this was his ploy. As soon as I heard all those old villains were coming back, I knew. And remember, the Jadoon have still to appear. We still have the Cybermen to appear in some capacity as the Cybermen. We might have got to see them here in the first 2 episodes. We don't know yet, right? And the Daleks, I don't care what he says, he's lying. Daleks are going to feature. It might be that special though. That'll be the special where I think
we've seen the pictures, the leaked pictures of the Daleks.
Yeah, and I put them up again last night just to remind people.
And it said that it's the Dalek they had. It's a better version of the Dalek they had from last year. The surveillance of the intelligence Dalek, whatever it was.
The reconnaissance Dalek.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't wait for this era to be over.
Oh, by the way, guess who's rumored to take over from Jodie Whittaker?
I saw the first the top one. Chris Marshall.
Chris Marshall's name has been mentioned again as for replacement.
So, and then the number 2 person, did you see who that was?
I didn't see who the number 2 person was, but I heard there was going to be another woman, but a woman of color that they were going to go for.
Oh, the one I saw in that Express article was Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, no way, not her. Oh, she's
that could really be, because she's really, really popular right now. That could really happen.
She's a radical feminist. She is.
And she's just stopping off to ruin James Bond in a couple of months as well.
Yeah. Oh, no. Look, she has to go. He has to go. But look, I do agree with everybody. Even if she goes, we're still left with Chris Chibnall.
Yeah, it won't work.
Although I really believe those rumors that he was either fired or walked off the show, because I just don't think he got the response he wanted. Everything he does is about vanity, is about his own. You can see that everything is about getting applause from the blue checkmark Twitter crowd. That's and once he got like this fan hatred, I think he was like, "Whoa, I'm not so." So when those rumors came out, I was like, "Yes, I totally believe it." And hopefully, they said Pete Matigue was the white guy who's going to take over. Which fine, okay, I'll try anything different at this point.
By the way, did anybody notice the Master's costume? He did a costume change during the episode, and it was a throwback to Troughton's trousers.
Yeah.
Oh, not Troughton. Yeah, Patrick Troughton's trousers. Kind of like a Joker jacket on him. Purple socks and the shoes. There's a photograph there.
Like a ragamuffin.
Yeah, look. And then someone says, remember when the Master was more doctory than the Doctor? And this is the type of thing that we're getting on Twitter right now. There's some actually given out about the amount these fans giving out because there's no shipping and there's none. What we will say about Series 12 is there's less SJW crap in it, right? There's less agenda in it, but it's done more. It is done subtly this time, right?
I mean, it's there, but it's just very
It's there. It's just not in your face as much. But that's annoying. The SJW side now, the J-bots, because it's not in their face now.
But there's still time. We haven't seen them all, so
yeah. So they brought up the timeless child again, anyway. So it looks like Chibnall is gonna try. Well,
I really think with the whole timeless child thing, they're gonna go super SJW. They're gonna have the Time Lords. Rassilon stole. Rassilon's going to represent the patriarchy that stole the time travel technology or regeneration or whatever it is from another race, and the other race is all going to be female. I am sure they're going to double and triple down on it.
Well, if they do, they will just wipe how many. They've got 4.88 that watched that episode. They'll wipe away another 3 million of their fans, because remember, there is still some Doctor Who fans like us that are kind of sticking around and hoping that it does get better. Some have already walked away. Tomorrow, I tell you, if the ratings come back lower than New Year's Day tomorrow, I'm sorry, I just have to say it, I'm going to hammer down on this series big time. I don't care if it improves then after that. I'm done. I'm done with Chris Chibnall and his agenda. I'm done with Jodie Whittaker and the fact that she's just mediocre and an average actress that won the lottery, in my opinion. She shouldn't be the Doctor. It's plain as simple as that. You can see it. She's trying too hard, and you can see that she's still trying too hard. Now, there is moments in it where she actually does pull it off, but again, we don't need an inconsistent Doctor right now, or an actress or an actor. We need someone that actually knows what they're doing, and she clearly does not know what she's doing, or she's clearly not getting the direction that she should be getting. And again, Chris Chibnall, but that Chris Chibnall's sticking around. That's what's annoying me. So this show, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. Doctor Who.
Well, if the ratings, is bad all season, I just can't see how the BBC could justify keeping him.
Yeah.
For Series 13, how can they justify that?
Well, is he? I mean, if he's already filmed the first episode, the New Year's Day episode, which I think he has.
Yeah.
Like, then he's already. Maybe they're calling that the third season, and they'll say they left together triumphantly. That could be. I mean, we honestly, I don't think anybody's going to really know until they see what the reaction is.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to ask you this question out straight. If we had to put up with another year, just say this rumor, and let's just say my source is wrong on this piece of information, but they've been right about everything else. But let's just say my source is wrong. Jodie Whittaker doesn't live. She hangs around for Series 13, all of Series 13, right? And Chibnall stays, right? She'll go after Series 13, right? Because they do near a 3 year stint.
3 years.
Right?
So she will definitely go after the 3 years, but we're still left with that man. He's sticking around. Right? So here's the question. Are Doctor Who fans that have been for the past 2 years, let's be honest, being treated with disrespect? Series 11 was a disaster, right? There's a lot of fans that are still not happy with the BBC and won't forgive the BBC. Do you think those very same fans are going to wait another 2 years on top of that? Because he'll stick around for the 5 years. That's what.
No, because they're already leaving now.
Right. So exactly. So the show is going to be BBC. I don't know if anybody is listening from the BBC, but if you are, all I'll just say is now you have to make a decision, and that decision is that you get rid of Chris Chibnall. If you just want to save Doctor Who, it's the only way to go now, because no amount of writing is going to save this show, because you've got an actress as well that's just incapable of pulling out the performances that need to be pulled out for this. And the supporting cast, and I have to even say, even though Graham, those parts with Graham were great, still he didn't get... That's all he really got to do in that episode, is dance around like a bit of a clown. Let's be honest. He didn't get much to do. Ryan didn't get much to do again. See, this is what happens as well. You've got too many companions, and now he's trying to compensate because he didn't write enough for Yaz. So now he's trying to write for Yaz, and then the other two now are being neglected now. So,
well, he wants to elevate the women, and it's obvious he wants to elevate the women in the series. The Doctor is obviously the main character, but
the Doctor had the two women from the two different time periods,
and just downplay the male characters and kind of play them off as real stupid. Although Yaz is pretty stupid, but he doesn't see it that way, I guess.
The BBC is, I don't think their primary concern is entertainment. They're using Doctor Who because it's a very popular franchise as a platform to, promote their ideology. And to me, their ideology, when you get down to it, the base bare bones of it is really what they're interested in. Even if they lose a little money, it's to them. I think the people that are running the BBC and are, kind of behind a lot of these decisions.
Couldn't agree more.
I think they're the ones that are they're willing to take a little bit of a loss in order to promote whatever ideology they feel that is worth promoting.
Well, the trouble with the entertainment industry, particularly genre entertainment, there's so little accountability for screwing up. Again, look at Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson destroyed perhaps the most valuable franchise of all time. I can't believe I'm not interested that much in Star Wars anymore because of Rian Johnson. He's doing fine. He's getting jobs left, right. He's doing, and there's so little accountability. So even if the season's average is under 2 million, even if it's that low, I don't think there's going to be any accountability, because if Chibnall's account can be held accountable, then the people who hired him is going to be accountable, and those people don't want to be accountable.
Yeah, Piers Wenger, is the one that gave him the job, and he's definitely not going to take responsibility for this shit show. You're right. See, this is the thing. So Piers Wenger has to do something that I don't think he actually can do because he doesn't have the balls to do it. But he doesn't have the balls to actually sack Chris Chibnall and say you got it wrong because he wants to save face. So it's like our club at the moment, Manchester United. The owners won't get rid of Ollie because they want to save face, even though we're doing so badly. It's the same with the BBC. They don't want to get rid of Chris Chibnall, even though they know deep down it's gone badly. They want to save face. Well, fuck saving face, right? Save the bloody show, okay? And fans might actually forgive you if you can actually produce something next year that we can actually all get behind and bring in someone that will, I said this from day one. We need an actor that can unite this fandom again, because the fandom has totally lost the plot. We've seen it the last couple of days. Ballstrek has done a couple of videos, and these so-called J-bots have been pretending to be fans of Ballstrek, going on with their little fake accounts and writing racist and bigot stuff in his video.
He's breaking up.
Of course, then someone on the job.
Yeah.
I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
What's going on here?
Up there.
Can you all hear? Oh my God, what happened there?
Oh, me clicking off was my fault.
It was the
I don't know what happened to you.
No, the stream went there. The BBC, haha. So you are listening. Get rid of Chibnall. It's the best thing to do. Seriously, you better listen to me. Get rid of them. Oh no, yeah. So the J-bots basically went in and basically his Spyfall review video. He went in. They started calling down a lot of racist and bigot attacks and calling out the master because of the color of his skin and stuff. And I was quite shocked. But then people were blaming, but why aren't you deleting these comments? Well, I can tell you as a YouTube creator, it's actually very, very hard to delete everybody's comments. You can't just mass delete comments. You put in certain keywords, right? And then YouTube will obviously, if someone comments and uses certain keywords, YouTube will put it in the held to review. So he's been advised to put in the keywords, but it's not his. It's people's responsibility to what you call it, to police themselves. And if there's racist bigots out there, well then they need to be exposed. And they have been exposed all over Twitter, but to be going after a YouTube creator that's been on YouTube a long time, longer than most of us that have been on YouTube over 11 years, or when YouTube first started. So this guy is known all over YouTube. So to be going around and attacking him, calling him racist because he doesn't like Series 11 of Doctor Who and doesn't like Series 12 of Doctor Who is wrong, because this is what we get. Anyway, I got another one as well. Apparently I'm transphobic because I picked up for Garrett Roberts. Like, yeah, this fandom, this is what I'm saying. We need an actor to come in now that will unite this fandom, that will actually appeal to. But do you know what? Actually, I don't care if he appeals to J-bots anymore, because
right.
You know what?
Because they're not real fans anyway.
Exactly. They think they own the show. They don't. Right? For example, I'll give you a comment from one of these J-bots. This is what was said. The Doctor's been a man for over 70 years, so it's about time that we had Earthborn and we had a female Doctor. I said, firstly, you got to learn the history of the show, because it's not 70 years old. Oh yeah, they said something about whitewashing or something.
Oh, good Lord.
I said, clearly you haven't watched Classic Who, because that is not the case. And I says, especially with New Who. So don't know where you're from. And I said, 70 years old just goes to show you how cute you are. 70 years that they don't even know what all the show is, and they're criticising us and telling us that this show isn't for us and that we should leave the fandom. Yous are the ones that need to leave the fandom. And BBC, if you are listening, yes, you have to stop catering to these fans because you're seeing the result right now. And the result right now is that Doctor Who fans are walking away by the millions. And this is what tomorrow is going to be interesting. I'm going to be generous and say I think it'll be slightly over 5 million.
Really? No
Yeah.
way.
Wow.
I think
No way.
I'm gonna say 5.2.
Why?
5.2 million. Because looking at Doctor Who is now trending on Twitter, and it wasn't really trending last week, and it's trending where I am. And also I'm looking at some of the comments here. While it is a mixed bunch, it seems to be pretty positive. Around the board, even some fans that weren't on board with it are actually saying that this is one of the best episodes.
I mean, really, but can't you rely on that?
I saw a sharp divide on Facebook. They have immediately the episode finished. I mean, even before it finished, all the J-bots were going, "This is the best thing ever." But as soon as like normal people who watched the show started commenting, it's getting a slew of hate.
Yeah,
and I think the destroying Gallifrey thing will hurt it with fans.
I just don't trust all the positive feedback given, out from a few forums. I just don't. After looking at the reviews from people who saw, for example, Star Wars. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes, the score for what was it? The Last Jedi.
No, was it Rise?
Was it? No, I'm thinking of. I think it was. No. Look at like season 11. Everyone was building that up to be just the greatest thing on earth. Yeah. You had the Jodie. The Jodie supporters that were saying it was. She's brilliant. The Doctor, and she was brilliant, and you have all this outpouring of support, and then you go look at the score on Rotten Tomatoes from thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who were actually watching the show, and she got like 20% from the actual. From real people. Probably. And then there was like the score from the critics was what, like 97% or something like that. So no, I don't automatically, just because there's some people on a forum that are raving about it. So what?
Here's the thing, actually, someone put up a photograph. So do you remember when she had the flashback? Someone's had to take in a very interesting screenshot. I actually think we see the timeless child now.
Yeah, I was just looking at that right now. Yeah. The Doctor Who official put it out.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if it is the timeless child, but
I'm sure it is, and it looks like a young.
I was going to say it looks like the Golden Child. I was going to say out of that movie with Eddie Murphy, it looks like the Golden Child.
No, but if you pause it, it's a girl. You can tell.
Oh, is it? Oh, so the timeless child is a girl.
Oh,
yeah, it's totally a girl. I mean. Wow. It's a bit blurred, but that's what it looks like to me. In like yellowish orange, they look like Gallifreyan robes to me.
Yeah. So this rumor is definitely looking like it's going to be true. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. And you know why he's gonna do it? I'll tell you why he's gonna do it. Because in the very first episode, he showed his contempt to us fans when he actually when Jodie's doctor said, "Oh no, I got an upgrade." Now that comment actually caused an awful lot of hate, believe it or not. A lot of people weren't happy with that. He's already telling fans, "Well, fuck you, I'm doing what I want." And I'm telling you, he's going to do this, not just because he thinks it'll be something great to do. It's because it's a way to say F you to us fans that have been criticising him and Jodie Whittaker for the past 2 years. And this is what I said in a tweet the other day. He needs to really stop taking shots at fans, and he really needs to grow up, because he had the opportunity to go and air his grievances, but we're not allowed to air grievances to him. And then he acts like a petulant child. He throws in little comments like that. So I think he is going to go and do this, because I think it will be a way to say, well, F you to you guys who criticised me for 2 years. Because Moffat used to do little things, but the guy is going to go full in, he is. and he's going to walk. I wouldn't be surprised if he does actually walk away after doing this, because it'll be a big fuck you, 2 fingers up, and it'll be a mic drop moment for him, and you'll walk off into the sunset, and you leave the show in tatters then. And then as showrunner, then we'll have to come back and then try to repair
try
all
to fix that. But I don't know if they could. Could
exactly.
they really fix that?
You can fix anything. You can fix anything. If you just sit down and think, you can fix anything. You just gotta, you know what? You've got to be prepared to do work, which these people aren't prepared to do. That's why everything we have is such crap right now, because we have a whole generation of professionals who are lazy, who have never put the time in, who have never had to struggle. That's why we get such relentless shit, because we have people who just don't know how to do it. Like, what's it, Harlan Ellison? I've got this great book of his where he used to stay up all night writing a short story for one of these pulp science fiction papers, and then go sell it for 25 cents a word. The book's called Honest Whoredom for 25 cents a word. It's really good. But you have these, because he hack it, and then he will take that money and pay his rent for the week and get breakfast. Because and then when you need to do it, you pull it together. These people have too much money, too much power, and and no accountability, and they produce shit.
And they think we're gonna eat it up like it's the greatest thing ever.
Exactly. You stamp Star Trek on it, or Doctor Who on it, or Star Wars on it, we will consume. They're a bit freaked out that we're not consuming.
I was going to ask, is this whole Gallifrey story arc or story thread that he's doing, do you think he would have went back to Stephen Moffat and RTD and consulted with them, or do you think that he's just going to do his own thing with it? See, I'm very worried right now. I mean, if he gets rid of Gallifrey, and he mightn't, it could be all a big bluff, and he's probably trying to suck us all in, and then it turns out to be nothing at all, right? But it's just that it's out there now, so there is a bit of a worry as a Doctor Who fan, and I don't even know what to say, guys. That's why I've been really letting you do. There's loads of stuff going through my head right now.
Well, it
just doesn't lead anywhere good. No matter, I'm trying to come up with my own theories of which way he could be going with this, and every way I go, it's still leading to the same conclusion.
I don't know if he would really want to blow it up. We're like, okay, the question is, how would he get on with Russell T Davies, Mark Gatiss, and Stephen Moffat? Because they all genuinely love Doctor Who, and we know they genuinely love Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine they're happy with this. I mean, they always seem kind of like pally when they appear together, but I can't imagine they're happy with it.
Is it a parallel universe, Gallifrey?
Cool.
Because they mentioned multiple universes.
That's what we thought it was, but it turned out it was only multiple timelines. That's what it was. It was multiple timelines. They were going back, getting the smartest people that were involved in robotics, computers and stuff, the early pioneers to the late pioneers. That's what that was. I speculated last week. Do you remember? I thought it was actually parallel universes, but I'm actually just thinking, what if this Gallifrey is a parallel universe Gallifrey? But then she'd know, wouldn't she?
You would think so.
She doesn't know anything.
This is Jodie Whittaker. This is her doctor. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just put the link to that tweet with the GIF in of the Timeless Child in the chat.
Cool. Jason, as obviously kind of relatively new to the show, what would you say is the biggest problem with Doctor Who right now? You're 2 episodes in. You watched Series 11, didn't you?
I watched some of it. I mean, I haven't seen every episode, but I watched as much as I could tolerate.
Okay. So what do you think is the biggest problem? Because let's just say you're an outsider, like I am with the Star Wars. I've watched the movies, but I'm not a Star Wars fan per se. I'm a Star Trek fan or a Trekkie. So I'm an outsider when I do talk about Star Wars. So as a bit of an outsider, what do you think the fundamental problems are with Doctor Who right now? And do you see any recovery in the rating slide yourself? Because, I don't know. For some, I'm still trying to be optimistic here. I still do think that we might just get over the 5 million with this episode because of the last 15 minutes. Because I think again, BBC are relying on word of mouth, and I think a lot of people will be discussing that last 15 minutes, and I think some people will be intrigued and might actually go and watch it. And this is why I think there will be a little bump, but not much of a bump. But what do you think is the fundamental problems anyway with Doctor Who? And do you think we can stop this rating slide?
For me, the question is, what would it take for me to enjoy Doctor Who? You know what I mean? So the fundamental gap would, as we've discussed, because really as a person who's not an avid watcher, it is an issue for me as well as people who are hardcore fans. It comes down to really the writing. It comes down to the main actor, and it also comes down to the supporting cast. I mean, I like Bradley Walsh, and I think he's the highlight of the show. I mean, he is very. I get the feeling he's an actor. You know, they hired him because he's an actor. But as far as what it would take, I don't really see. You know, I don't really see any kind of recovery with Jodie Whittaker. I mean, just my prognostication would be that it's you're fighting a losing battle. You're really spinning your wheels there. As far as the writing, you know, that's kind of up in the air at this point, but it doesn't look good. I mean, it really doesn't look good because they're even if you change out all of the actors that are you know subpar, you're still left with the way that those actors were written. And that's an issue because if you get great actors in there, you're still left with those great actors having to, you know, read out and act out really bad lines. So as far as is it salvageable? You know, considering the, I mean, if history is any indication, if recent history is any indication, it you know, maybe, but the BBC is going to really have to take a hard look at, you know, have to really care about and take a hard look at what they're doing wrong and really want to make the necessary changes in order to elevate the show to a level that's appreciable to the fans and to people maybe that even aren't fans, because from what I understand, they're trying to draw in people that aren't necessarily, you know, classic fans. They're trying to appeal to people like me who aren't longtime watchers. And it didn't work with me. And I did like some of the episodes with Capaldi. I mean, I thought a lot of that stuff was good. So if you really want to save the show, they're gonna have to really take a hard look at you know what's the problem. And the way I see it now, like I said, if history's any indication, it seems to be that the trend is promoting this ideology of you know, culture of diversity and lifting up you know, the female gender, and really focusing on this political ideology and catering to SJWs and this sort of thing. And those are the things that no matter how you dress it up, what I think they're trying to do is create a good fusion between entertainment and you know, getting on the podium and kind of shoving that message, whether you like it or not, dressing the message up in clothing that would, you know, be presentable. But I just don't, you know, no matter what you dress their message up in, it's still, you know, it's not palatable. I mean, so it makes it very difficult for me as a person who would like to enjoy the show to be optimistic. But anything's possible. I just think for me, I'm very skeptical. I tend to think they're probably the next incarnation of the Doctor could very well be, you know, could very well be someone who is, God forbid. I mean, just my opinion. You could see a transgender. You could see someone who, you know, a same-sex doctor, someone who is maybe, you know, it's just this sort of thing. I mean, you know, someone of color, which, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but, you know, like I said, you have a history of the Doctor being associated with certain characteristics, and to change that now is just dangerous and stupid.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past them to want to even further their agenda, but just sort of try to fuse good entertainment and dress up their political ideology in really great entertainment. And that's why I think they're drawing in these old classic villains, because they're really not ready to let go of the grasp on their ideology. And until they do that, you may see more of what you don't like.
Well, we're seeing it in cinema now, beginning to see it. With I saw a real swing when was it Terminator and Charlie's Angels both tanked back to back, and then they were worried about Star Wars. So I think we're seeing with Charlie's, it takes about 2 or 3 years for the ship to turn around, but we're starting to see Hollywood realize they're not making the money they want to make. If they can't get to China,
got the money.
They're in trouble. And I think the comic book industry, I think, is a precursor to the movie industry, and I think if things keep going in the way that they were going with cinema, we're going to see theaters closing like we're seeing comic book stores closing. But the question is, how far behind is the BBC from Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue that we have. How far behind, and how much money can BBC actually afford to lose? Now, we do know about those deals, as Matrix Lord has spoke about. But as I said, and I've always been consistent on this. Just because you sign a contract nowadays doesn't necessarily mean that you necessarily have to stick to that contract. Now, there would be consequences, obviously, if they didn't stick to a contract, but you can never say never. There is a possibility that Chris Chibnall could still go if BBC find. See, here's the thing. This will be interesting for me. If they get rid of Jodie Whittaker, say after Series 12, and you do that regeneration, we know there's a regeneration episode. So if they drop that and she regenerates, right, and we get a new Doctor. The thing is, what would be interesting then is then if that new Doctor is male, then Chris Chibnall is actually leaving himself out to be exposed, because if his writing's not up to scratch, then that will be the focus. It won't be on the actor, unless the actor is obviously a bad actor, and then we'll have to talk about that again. But if the actor is actually quite decent, then he could actually do himself no favors here, because right now he has Jodie Whittaker, and we're all concentrating on Jodie Whittaker. But okay, we're concentrating on the writing as well. But for most fans out there, especially in the Not My Doctor side, it's Jodie Whittaker's the problem for them. More of a problem than Chris Chibnall is as a writer. He still is a problem, but to them, Jodie Whittaker's the devil and needs to go and needs to be, burned at the stake like Dracula and stuff.
But do you really trust Chibnall to pick a?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Doctor?
Chibnall is not going to be. And by the way, I've just received a little bit of information now. I'm just trying to find out if I can actually give this information on air. So I'm just waiting on my source to get back to me. But I'm after being given something. And I will say, if this is true, I don't know how fans are going to feel about this. And if it is true, then Chris Chibnall has pulled the wool all over our eyes, and he has trolled us for the last 2 years. Now, if you might be
like Graham's really the Doctor.
No, what I'll do is because you are on the panel, I'm gonna send you a private message right now. The whole lot of you will see it. Don't react to it.
Okay.
Just keep it to yourselves until I get permission, because I don't want to get copyrighted or anything. So I'm gonna use the first people to see this. So here we go. I'm sending it to you now, and I'm just gonna pop off and go to the loo. So you just talk amongst yourselves there just for a second, and I'll just read that little bit of information of what I've been told. Actually, I'll just clarify something. Tears.
Without revealing anything. That's insane. That's crazy.
There. I sent another second package there. Hold on, I'll be back now.
Oh, okay. That rejoinder makes it make much more sense. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening, but I can see it like being like half an episode.
We can only dream, but
yeah, but I mean, yeah. Can you imagine? Okay, I don't think we should discuss this because we're right. All right. Well, while you're waiting on word, if that's okay to share, here's why I don't think the ratings are going to go up this episode. Because even on the best show in the world, the odds are always against it. You always get depreciation in viewership, unless they do something really incredible and there's like there's like a real buzz on the street, and there's not with this. They got to be really, really, really lucky to have their ratings go up from the first episode, and it was a holiday episode as well. So I give it like a 5% chance the rating's going to go up. More likely, I think we're looking at could be. It depends how big the drop's going to be. It could be like I think 4.5, 4.2. It might go under 4.
You know, we're looking at the ratings right now, but looking at this from a long range perspective, you know, and you think about if they keep Chibnall, if he leaves. I guess for me, you know, let's say they hire a good actor and Chibnall stays, and then you've got to work through figuring out, you know, is Chibnall going to write something worth a crap, or is he going to expose him as the
weak link
in the chain? I guess the point is, how much damage can the franchise sustain before, you know, how long is it going to take to work through? How much longer is that going to take?
Yeah, we're like it's like a ticking time bomb.
So no, I'm just saying, think about it. You've got this incarnation, which if she were to maintain her tenure for another season, which let's say season 13, and then you know, and then she goes her way, and let's say by the grace of God, Chibnall decided to bring in a good actor. And then that's going to be maybe another 2 seasons, and then you'd have to contend with his writing, and then you know the BBC would have to figure out, okay, well but what's that doing the whole time that's taking place? How many years is that? And what is that doing to the fan base and the legacy of the show in the minds of the fans? And what's the enthusiasm looking like 4 years down the road if this is just a progressive spiral of death?
It'll kill it.
I don't know if it'll kill it, but it's just no one gets excited anymore after the fourth year.
2 years, though. It's been going on since the end of Moffat's era.
Yeah, and imagine if this were to progress for another 4 years, because the BBC decided that, you know.
I think what would happen to it is what happened to it before. It would eventually go off air. It'll go into the province of the fans. You know, that's how Big Finish was born, and we had a Virgin Book range in the 90s, and then 20 years later it'll come back and it'll go like, oh, I remember Doctor Who, and I'm so excited.
Imagine though for a minute though, let's say it didn't go off the air. Let's say it you know, the BBC decided not to cancel, and they were going to continue on in the trajectory that they're in, just hypothetically, right? Let's say that's the case. What does that do for the excitement level of fans, or for even people who are just, you know, generally familiar with Doctor Who? What does that do for people who are? What does that do for expectation when they announce a new season? How do people respond by the 4th year?
How excited are you if they announce a new Star Wars movie now?
Right, that's exactly right. Not very. So what I'm saying, it just progressively, that progressive decline in you know, passion for the show ultimately results in people eventually saying, so what? So it's a new season of Doctor Who. Who cares? Did we really want that? No, of course not. But what do you? Well,
Jason, you've got a point, because I have to say that enthusiasm for Series 12 was non-existent. The trailers out, it was non-existent. Right.
It's bracing for impact.
Yeah,
and that's sad, because you know, you want the legacy of a show you hold dear. That's exactly why people are upset, because I in my opinion, that's exactly why fans, because I have the same issue with other. I won't even say genres or other franchises, but in terms of, let's say, music. I mean, there's bands that I love that they were releasing garbage in their later years, and I mean, every time they released a crappy album, I just every successive album, I just thought eventually it just gets to the place where you're just thinking, well, they're releasing another album, so what?
The good episodes lose their luster and your passion.
And who wants to look at their favorite franchise, and when something new comes out, they're just not excited at all? And maybe that's how people are kind of getting right now, is where there's just no real excitement. But 4 years down the road or 3 years down the road, no one wants to envision that Doctor Who is going to be this bland. No one cares. I mean, that's really tarnishing the perception. No one wants to see the perception of Doctor Who fall into,
the
disarray
Star Wars territory.
Just being viewed as on the level of a Rise of Skywalker. I mean, that's just sad.
Yeah. Good evening, Gamer 50. Nice to have. Yeah, it is bad. The last 15 minutes are, well, for me, were gut wrenching. If you're not going to watch the whole episode, I would suggest though you go and watch the last 15 minutes. Just tell us what you actually think. But yeah, I mean, I tried to be positive last week, and I thought I was. To be honest, I wanted to be positive this week, and just that last 15 minutes just knocked the stuffing out of me. Now I'm at the receiving a little bit of information. I'm still waiting to see if I can actually get the go ahead to release it. But what I will say is I agree with the panel here. It is mad. This will be bonkers. It'll be totally bonkers. But at the same time, I will say if he actually does do this and the end result is what I think it will be, I'll be happy for the fact because how do I put this without giving it away? Just put it this way, it'll be something that maybe that whole thing, everything you believe is a lie, isn't what we think it is. That's the way I'll put it. With this piece of information, it would really throw new light on that line. Hopefully, I get the permission to share this with you before we go off air, because everybody, I've seen some people say that this is depressing. Some of you are saying it's killed. I can see that there's a lot of people actually depressed. This might cheer you up a bit, actually. Well, I don't know how you're going to feel about it. It's a bit. Okay, I can. Right, okay. Here we go. So this is what I received. So I will have to say before I actually say this, because there's a few stupid people out there that don't realize when you're given a rumor or you're given a bit of information that you take it with a pinch of salt. So I just want to throw that out there. This is a rumor, but I will say it comes from the same source that gave me the Spyfall information, and anybody that's actually familiar will know that the source got the information bang on with that. So the latest rumor is a body swap between the Doctor, the Whittaker and Sasha. That's why he's on the charm offensive, and she's saying she wants to play Missy and will be in the next season. She becomes Missy and he becomes the Doctor. It's a straight body swap. The body of the Master is in and will become the Doctor's, and the body of the Doctor is in and will become the Master. And since that's a female body, she'll be Missy. All female Masters are Missy. So basically what's happening is, in reality, the Master is actually in the Doctor's body, and if I'm getting this correct, the Master is in the Doctor's body, and the Doctor is in the Master's body.
So, I mean, to me, that sounds like it'll be the cliffhanger for the penultimate episode, and then I'll have half the episode or three quarters of the episode of them body swapped, and they'll be back to normal by the end.
Well, hang on. That means, because this rumor did come out before, when we heard the Master was coming back, this was muted before, but everybody ignored it because they thought it was too far-fetched for Chibnall to do. What if he does this? He has trolled this fandom for 2 years.
Right, it's going to piss off a lot of fans.
Making us believe that Jodie Whittaker has been the Doctor from the beginning when she hasn't been. Right, so this is what he's basically doing. So basically, the Missy is actually in the Master's body as we see it now, and the Doctor. Oh my God, that would be. I'm sorry, I know some people are laughing, but to me, that would actually be. I don't know why he did it in the first place. Would be the thing that spring to
Yeah, I
mind.
mean, it's almost like I just have a feeling it would piss off some of the hardcore fans. I don't know. I mean, you spent 2 years being angry, and then he's going to do this.
Well, the whole issue, for me, I immediately think, okay, Sasha's a good actor. I mean, as the master, right?
Yeah.
Jodie's not a good actor. So how's this going to work when they swap bodies and she's expected to pull off this masterly, evil persona?
Oh, but you know what?
Gosh, she can't do that.
Jason, though, do you know what, though? I don't care. I don't care.
I know. I'm just saying, from a quality standpoint, it would be great.
You know why? I'll tell you why I don't care. Because if Sasha is the Doctor, then we're gonna know for a fact that he's gonna annihilate Jodie Whittaker's master.
Yeah,
right? Missy, it's done. It's game over. So I don't care. Once she's not, I'm sorry, but I said it when she was announced 2 years ago. Jodie Whittaker was the wrong actress anyway. If you were gonna go down the actress route, there were plenty of other better actresses out there, but they can't make the same mistake twice. So maybe this wasn't part of Chibnall's original plan, but this could be the plan. Maybe that's why he probably walked off set in Cardiff. We had this bit of, this whole ruckus that happened in Cardiff with everybody, chaos in Cardiff as it was known, where there was supposed to be a big fight. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe VC told him, look, we've had enough of your crap. Now sort this out, fix it. It's not working. And maybe this is the storyline he's come up with. To me, I don't know why he would do it and troll the fans for 2 years if this is the case, but I don't care.
Unless the BBC, this is the only way.
I mean, maybe if they thought, look, that we got to find a way to get out of this. I mean, that we got to find a way to solve this issue. And this
would be a way out of it. And Daniel straight away, oh my God, please be true. See, I don't think fans give a shit right now, Jason. They would accept this.
Look, I'm not saying that you should care. What I'm saying is, here's another example of how Jodie Whittaker would make would be completely inept and out of her league, taking on another character. I'm not saying it would be something we should all care about. I'm just saying here's something we should look forward to. Jodie screwing up another role.
Right, guys. What do you guys actually think of that latest revelation? So, basically, what's happened is that the Master is actually in the Doctor's body right now, and Missy is actually in the it's confusing. I'm even getting confused.
Wait, you saying that's happening now, or it's going to happen in the future?
No, this is what I'm saying. This is the story arc that they're going with. The Doctor right now, that as we see her, is Jodie Whittaker, actually isn't the Doctor. Missy is in that body. No, sorry.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Sorry. I'm getting it wrong. The Doctor is in Jodie's body, right? But it's not supposed to be in Jodie's body. The Doctor is supposed to be in Sasha's body. And the Master, or Missy, is supposed to be in Jodie Whittaker's body. Something went wrong.
Okay, so it's like a Freaky Friday thing.
Yeah.
So when she regenerated, that isn't really her. She regenerated and teleported and swapped with the Doctor. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
How would that even work, though? Like, what would be the impetus behind that?
I mean, it's kind of dumb. So I think it's dumb, and it would annoy people, and it would make this era end quicker. So yeah, I'm on board for it.
I'd be fine with it.
I know. The thing about it is, I do agree with you, Rabbi. It's how he's going to connect this together, because I don't see a clear path on how he's going to do this, to be honest with you. But
I mean, I think it sounds much more likely this is going to be some kind of plot.
There's something in Series 10 that we must have missed that he's using. He's obviously using the thread off Series 10 to justify this. Because we did see Missy abandoned on that. Was it a planet? Was it the planet or the ship? He abandoned her anyway.
It was on the Cyberman spaceship when she was going in the elevator. She was just shot by John Sim Master.
But remember, Peter Capaldi's regeneration did go wrong a bit. So
yeah, it was a bit of a weird.
I don't know, man. I just can't. Any of you guys got any theories on how you think Chibnall could actually do this? Because we're stumped right now. But that is the latest information that we've received. I will say to all you J-bots out there that are actually probably panicking right now, it is rumor and speculation, so you can actually not shit your pants right now. But you might have to in a couple of weeks' time. But if this is the way he is going with it, the one question I actually have is why? Why would you destroy a fandom? Why would you?
Because they wanted to try. Because they wanted to try a female as the Doctor,
and then it didn't work. And this is their way of backtracking.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I find this unlikely. I just find it very unlikely.
Yeah, it may be unlikely. I mean, if there's a reason behind it, I think it's because they realized it was a bad idea and they got to find some way to get out of it.
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, and they gave him
that level of mea culpa. They would never admit. They would that would be admitting they screwed up. They're never.
Yeah, no, they won't admit it. But this is supposed to be this is supposed to be a good cliffhanger and supposed to be entertainment. They're never going to say like, "Hey, look, the reason why we did it is because we just realized it was a mistake."
Yeah,
they're never going to.
I mean, to me, it sounds like something they wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to explain this to your normie audience very easily.
No, I mean, what would be the mechanism for her swapping? What would be the reason?
Right,
what would be the original mechanism for that?
That's why it sounds more like a dastardly plan.
They better get a good writer to come up with some sort of reason, because otherwise, it's not going to make much sense.
Right, I'll explain it again, Gary. Right, so right now, so because it's me, I'm confusing it. I know I'm confusing it. Right, so. The Doctor, right? I'll make it easier. Let's just say the Doctor's consciousness is supposed to be in the Master's body, Sasha's body, right? And say the Master's consciousness is supposed to be in Jodie Whittaker's body, right? So it's basically a Freaky Friday kind of situation. They've swapped bodies, but I don't know how they don't realize that. I don't know. But that's the way they're doing it. Anyway, that's what I've been taught. I know my head hurts as well.
The Master is in Jodie Whittaker's body, and the Doctor is in Sasha's body. But Sasha at this point is acting like the Master.
Yeah, so it's like
they've swapped personalities as well.
Personalities, yeah. That'd be the better way of explaining it. No, I think
what would make the Doctor act like the Master?
I think he might know that they've swapped, and maybe that's why that line is everything you've come to believe is a lie, because maybe that's what it is. I know it's kind of it's killing me. So basically, the Master is in Sasha's body right now, but should be in Jodie Whittaker's body, and the Doctor is in Jodie Whittaker's body, but should be in Sasha's body. That's the best way I can explain it. And that's what apparently they're supposed to be doing. Now, this was brought up a few months back, but everybody dismissed it because there was rumors the Master, and this was a whole thread that was actually talked about. And the Timeless Child was talked about as well, which is actually weird. So a lot of fans that out there that were speculating and actually said they had source information, it looks like some of the stuff that they've said is coming to fruition as well. So, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't dismiss it. But again, this is the thing, though. If it wasn't Chris Chibnall, then we would say, okay, it's hard to believe. But the fact that it is Chris Chibnall is why I think there's some relevance to it, because he's capable of doing anything.
Yeah, but dude, the thing about it is that we saw the regeneration. We saw the Doctor regenerate into Jodie Whittaker.
Right. Yeah, we did. But
how are you going to explain that?
I know, but they kind of used to do that years ago.
Body swap at the time of the regeneration. They both died at the same time, and then there was a.
Jason,
Missy died different.
Yeah, but you remember those old shows where they used to always leave on a cliffhanger, and how will Batman get out of this situation? Blah blah blah, and it looked like it's impossible. He's probably going to pull one of them with the Peter Capaldi regeneration, saying something that we didn't see just before or after, or something.
Like some extra little scene to explain. Because Missy died before, or she started regenerating right before Peter Capaldi, or was it around the same time?
Here's the thing.
We never see.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We didn't see Missy after she got shot in the back. So how do we know that she didn't get onto the Doctor?
it doesn't make sense that that would have killed Missy because she has John Sim's memories because she's a latent. So she knows to wear some kind of shielding. It's like
unless she found a way of getting onto the Doctor's TARDIS before he got onto the TARDIS, and then when he did the Capaldi regenerated, she did something. Or
it sounds very stupid.
I know it does, but
could be.
Let's be honest.
This is Chibnall we're talking about.
This is Chibnall. So like Chibnall writes stupid. So it's stupid to us. So let's give him credit where credit is due. He's stupid.
It sounds to me this is what will happen if they got Alex Kurtzman to come in and take over Doctor Who.
Well, if it were anybody else, I mean, if they had suggested this idea and it were any other writer other than Chip, let's say it was somebody you respect, you might say, well, cut him some slack. I mean, I don't see how it's going to happen, but I mean, they know their stuff. But it's considering it's Chibnall, come on.
They would need to get Michelle Gomez in for a cameo to explain it.
Yeah, but she was rumored as well to make an appearance. So was John Sim.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, there you go. That's the thing. Those two names, when the Master was mentioned to be brought back, John Sim's name popped up. People, I've actually done videos on it. I actually said that John Sim wasn't coming back, and Missy, and I actually said that Missy wasn't coming back. And the reason why I said that was because I knew Sasha actually had gotten the gig. But now thinking about it, there's nothing stopping Chris Chibnall from actually bringing those two back as well. If you think about it, if you see the current trend of this series, he seems to be very committed to bringing back old villains, right, and old aliens. So why not bring back the two old masters as well? As do you know what I mean? He's capable of doing
but they just did that.
Yeah, they did that.
But he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's all about the member.
You're right. He does just whip the stuff out. You liked this before. Let's do it again.
He's a hack. That's what he's doing. He's doing what JJ is doing. He's trying to cherry pick the best bits of Doctor Who's classic and New Who era, and he's trying to stick them into Series 12. That's what he's doing because he tried to change it so much during Series 11, and it backfired on him. So now he's resorted back to something that he thinks is going to work, which is the old villains and monsters, like you said. And it does kind of hide some of the bad writing, let's be honest with you. But that's why he brought them back. That's why we're so focused on it this year than we were last year, because we've got that old villains. So in a way, yes, he has managed to get some fans on board because there is old villains. I'm still not convinced. I still think he's going to mess this whole thing up. But if this body swap thing happens, right, or whatever it is, personality swap or whatever what my source was trying to tell me, or I'm not just coming across great at all. But I'll throw it up later on for you, and then you can read it, and then you probably interpret it better than I'm actually putting it on the screen. But if Jodie Whittaker does become Missy, now I will point out, by the way, guys, you will find an article. She did actually audition to become Missy. She wanted to play a villain. She's actually came out and said in interviews, and it's actually quite funny in recent interviews, she's actually brought that up again all of a sudden, about how she originally wanted to play a villain. So is this her trying to set us up for what's to come? Because remember, these people actually do drop hints when they do interviews. It's only when you look back after watching the series you realize. And then you realize that they're dropping hints.
Hindsight is 2020.
Now, don't get me wrong. To me, I like this for the simple fact is Jodie Whittaker would be the Doctor. The problem and the issue that I have is why Chris Chibnall will put us fans through this for 2 years. Because
if this is true, this is what I think season 12 is in general.
Is it a retcon then? Is it actually a retcon?
It's a desperate course correction if it's true. Because like this whole thing, I mean, so far we're seeing desperate, like we got the cold opening back. Did they have the trailer at the end of the episodes last year?
Yeah, they had the trailers. Yeah, they had. No, he didn't have trailers.
Right, but they had that back this year. They had something else I hate about this episode when they had Jodie Whittaker say previously on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He did that.
that was cringy. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, and so yeah, look, if it's true, which I don't think it is, if it's true, it's desperate course correction, which isn't going to work.
But is this a way? But is this also a way to retcon the thing then?
A little bit.
Because
Yeah,
it would
I think
be.
so.
It would be.
But it's a way of doing it that's palatable. Palatable.
Oh,
yeah.
But you know what? I don't think it would be
to us, but not to the J-bots.
Right, and they're going to lose it.
Oh, that's going to be great. They're going to.
I don't think but I think if you left
fantastic.
it up to Chibnall, it wouldn't have been his decision. I think this is
Oh,
coming from on high. He's been told, we need a change.
Could this be the source of that rumor that he wanted to quit or he quit or like?
Yeah.
Could this be where it is?
we broke that rumor, and I was called a liar, and then of course it was actually proven to be correct. But he did apparently. The original reason for him walking off was because he actually wanted to bring Rose Tyler back as well, and there was supposed to be a scene in it, and people were overheard saying, "Oh, Chris, you can't do that, Chris. She's not a lesbian." So I think what they were going to do was he wanted to get because obviously Rose has this infatuation with the Doctor, and we know that she loves the Doctor. I think he was going to go that step and actually have the first on-screen lesbian kiss on Doctor Who. Would have been, wouldn't it?
No, they had.
Jenny and the lizard, but that doesn't count really.
No, those had. Was it Bill? Didn't Bill Potts say every 20 minutes she was a lesbian?
Well, yeah, she said that, but don't.
Did you kiss?
I guess there was a kiss. Yeah, there was a. There actually was a kiss
between who?
Bill and Heather at the very
the
end.
Girl.
Yeah, at the very end.
Heather wasn't the Doctor, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Doctor.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess.
All right. Glenn Edwards says in the chat that the Doctor regenerates into Baby Yoda. So, yes, we're up for that.
Yeah, it's better than what we're getting right now.
They're like, Baby Yoda's popular. Let's make the Doctor Baby Yoda.
But getting back to this Cardiff nonsense, apparently he did walk off, and he didn't come back for weeks. It was being overseen by what's his name, McTeague.
Oh, really? That all happened? I didn't know.
Yeah. No.
So how did he come back? Oh, what?
Well, you see, here's the thing I think happened. Now, it's never been established why he came back, but I obviously speculate because obviously I without sounding big-headed, I've been in the know with this whole situation. So my thing is that I think he walked off and he waited until the BBC were desperate enough to actually call him back and finish the show, because up until we got told when the show was being aired, they were already months behind, weeks behind, we can say. So it needed to be finished off, and as it is his show and his name on it, they had to get him back, and he knew that. So he power played the BBC.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of smugness from him ever since that, hasn't there?
Yeah, he's power played the BBC. He has them right where he wants them right now. But they've probably now decided to look. If they have made a decision, I'm delighted, because it's the decision that needs to be made. And if they've told him that he needs to change this and he needs to do this, well, then I'm on board with it, because this can't go on any further. It really can't. This cannot go on another year after this. If we continue in the same vein as Jodie Whittaker, the Doctor, as him as the showrunner, then well,
no one will care.
Nobody will care. Exactly, Jason. You're right. Nobody will care, because nobody really cared about Series 12. Anyway, by the way, I actually had a J-bot say, thanks to you and other YouTubers like you, you kept the hype up for Series 12.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that just goes to show how sad and pathetic it all is when you're relying on YouTubers that actually don't like this era to actually G up your show. But it actually hasn't made a difference. 4.88. Okay, keep that figure in your head.
If anything, we told the truth about it and helped the ratings go down.
Yeah.
How are they defining hype? I mean, Jesus, if that's the kind of hype they associate with, good marketing, God help them.
Yeah, because I kept bringing up the fact, that she wasn't appearing in all these Comic-Cons, so I was keeping her in the public. No, I was keeping people alert that there was still a Doctor Who show around, because actually I've looked at some of the comments of some of the review channels, and it's actually quite funny. You'll see, I didn't even know Doctor Who was back. I thought that show was, and I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. Because let's be honest, and I know Jason's pretty new to Doctor Who, but I mean, Blue Bonnie, you'll even know. I mean, when the show came back in 2005, you see the excitement for that. And then even when the new Doctors were regenerating, or there was a new series, there was always
there was a lot of excitement, especially in America. And there's no excitement in America at all anymore.
Even with Moffat's era, which Moffat's era is highly flawed, let's be honest. But every series, and it doesn't matter what series it was, even series 10 that people criticize, it still had some hype.
But you got to look at it this way: a lot of the hype that they're talking about now is just simply manufactured.
Yeah.
Noel has been body swapped by Mr. Tardis. I don't know what that means. What, do you expect me to be harsh? Or I think I've been very harsh on this series. Look, I'm just going to be honest. In elements, it was okay, but the last 15 minutes for me, and it was an average episode. I'm not saying that this series is great. By all means, it's not. Mr. Tardis reviews doesn't give balanced reviews, so I wouldn't be listening to him anyway. That guy, actually, I have to say this, because he did one on the Daleks. So he did the whole thing over the Christmas and New Year, and he did one on the Daleks, right? And he's so pathetic because he's not getting views that he actually had to use a voiceover of Ballstrek. And I think he used the voiceover for the Rosa video, but he used it for the Dalek scene where the Dalek was taking out the army in Resolution. Now, he said this episode had... Do you know what? He tried... This is what's funny. He tried so hard to defend it. You could actually see he was struggling to say something good about it. And at the same time, he was saying it had all these flaws, but saying it was one of the best Dalek stories and all that.
You're talking about Resolution, yeah.
Yeah. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Resolution was a snooze fest. There's not one good thing about that episode.
I like the Dalek mutant on the wall. That's the one thing I liked about that episode.
Yeah, I did like the Dalek mutant on the wall, but and I did like the way he made the Dalek sinister again, because let's be honest, Moffat turned him into a bit of a joke. Look at Chris Chibnall is flawed, right? He's more flawed than Moffat. He cannot write sci-fi. That has been proven time and time again, right? So Piers Wenger is the guy that hired him, so he has to take responsibility for that. If he has finally taken it upon himself to do something about it and tell Chris Chibnall, listen, this female doctor thing is actually not working out as we thought it was. We have to figure out some way of not directly regenerating Jodie, but make it in a way where it'll appease some fans, because we will have some backlash. Because he's not stupid. He knows that the SJWs and all these J-bots will kick up stink if this comes out and turns out to be true, that Jodie Whittaker is leaving, right? They will have to come up with a pretty good... And do you know what? Her being Missy would actually be perfect, because if you think about it logically, right? She could leave the show, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she's gone forever, because she could come back as Missy in a couple of series. She could actually appear in the 60s as Missy. That would be my guess, that's when they'd bring her back. They'd bring her back for the 60th. She'll be the main villain in the 60th Missy. I don't know. I'm just trying to...
If this is the route they're going in, then nothing matters. Like, just nothing matters anymore.
Right. The rest of the series doesn't really...
Yeah.
There's no point in it.
If they can, like I say, if they can hire a good actor to play the Doctor, he's a guy, and they hire good writers for the next incarnation, I think they're, I don't care what the fans say. I'm telling you, if they hire a good guy to play the Doctor and they get good writers, yeah, there'll be some bad blood. But if it's truly
the
good
rumors
episodes,
true, Sasha is going to be the Doctor, And
Right.
then
If the
this
rumor's
rumor of
true.
a doctor of a different race then would be true because he's of Indian descent. I'd have no problem with Sasha
I have
being
no
the
problem with
doctor.
that.
No.
Right, but
to
I
be
mean,
honest with you-
assuming it's not Sasha, assuming the rumor is not true, and assuming that people are really, you know, like yourself, Noel. I mean, I know you're upset
Yeah.
about the and assuming that the rest of this season is horrible. Let's assume this is the best episode. That this is the
Yeah,
best.
These are all
exactly.
fair assumptions.
Entire
These are
season.
very fair assumptions. I agree with
So
you.
let's
Yes.
assume that's the case, right?
Mm.
I still would contend if they make up for it by hiring a great actor and great writer and you know, get all the pieces right and they can pick up the slack. I think a lot will be forgiven. You know, you won't even think it'll be a blip on the radar. People will move on, but the problem is I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got another message there. Just make sure it's not from the source, just in case we got any more juicy information. I know if the rumor is not true, we do need an actor that's going to bring this fandom together. But do you see? I don't know. Chris Marshall is rumored in that article, as I said.
That's a no from me.
Yes, whoever
I'd
it is.
have to agree. If he had been chosen over Whittaker, I'd be okay. But now,
Sure.
no, it has to be someone better. And for
Right.
me, either a Michael Sheen level or even Sasha. If that rumor it turns out to be true, I wouldn't mind him being the doctor. But if not, it has to be Michael Sheen for me or someone of that caliber.
Well,
pay
there
him
was
the
a
money.
guy. There was a guy who was rumored to be the Doctor, but then Matt Smith was cast. What's his name? Patterson Joseph. He was in the 1990s Neverwhere, playing the Marquis de Carabas. Or was in the show The Leftovers. Oh, he was in Peep Show. He was in one episode a year of Peep Show. He was the boss of. Do you know who he is?
What's his
No,
name?
I've never.
Patterson Marshall?
Joseph. He was also in.
Oh,
he was in The
Patterson
Leftovers, the first season of that. He was in Neverwhere. He was in the remake of Survivors they did a few years ago.
Oh, he was also in a wasn't he in a Doctor Who episode as well?
No, that was somebody
Why
very
do I
similar
keep-
to him.
Okay, that's yes.
That was
okay.
Dr. Moon, and I can't remember who the actor was. Sank Salmon. Is it Adrian Salmon?
I've seen him in something recently, and I'm trying to recall what it was.
He's a fantastic actor, and he can do something great with it. And you know he's not white, so maybe the woke crowd will go for him. I always like the guy who played what's the Human Nature two-parter. You had the guy who played the kid who was taken over.
Oh, he was in Game of Thrones. He's
fantastic. He's great in
yeah.
everything.
I could see more of him playing the Master.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you know, there's so many good choices. Why? How do we end up here?
Well, here's a potential issue that I think, you know, I don't really hear it being discussed regarding this rumor. Let's say it's true. What's to stop Jodie from staying on as the Master?
Oh God! National outrage and hatred.
Maybe, but I mean, seriously, what would be the sure? I mean, it would be ideal for her to leave at that point, but what's stopping her from staying on as the Master? And we have Sasha as the Doctor. We still have to tolerate Jodie Whittaker in some capacity on the show, and that's going to be an anchor.
Yeah, but eventually, then they're going to kill off that
Yeah.
version
Yeah,
of the
eventually.
Master.
but the Master.
The question you'd
from
have
what
to
you're
ask
saying
yourself,
is-
which is better, having Jodie as the Master or having Jodie as the Doctor? Blue Bonnet,
Of
go ahead.
course, but you still have to tolerate her horrible acting in a
True.
different capacity on the
True.
show.
Yeah,
I
but
agree with
if
you,
she's not
Jason.
the main character, it's much
Yeah, and
easier.
it makes it more tolerable.
It
of
does,
course,
but
yeah.
come on, man. I mean, having
Yeah,
to
I
look at her,
agree with-
tolerate
I
her.
have to say, I agree with Jason. It's still, she's still in it, and she's still
And she's done so much damage now. So like, just go away.
So is this going to be a trend of making all the Master incarnations a female? If this is true,
Well, would you mind that though? I mean, because
You know,
I know I have
I would-
problems with
I could-
Missy personally. I think Michelle
No,
Gomez
I-
is a great
I
actress,
really-
but I think
I
the
loved
Master should be male.
Missy. I loved Missy as the Master, but I don't know if I'd want a female Master every time.
True.
Why would that have to be the case anyway, though?
Yeah, but just every female, every master is a Missy, the source said. So I think what they're just saying is when the master is female, they're going to be referred to as Missy. I think that's what they meant.
Well, I would think
That
it would
sounds
be,
like it, yeah.
any Time Lord that's evil would be, the master.
Well, that I have to agree. That's my choice for the Doctor. He would be my perfect choice for the Doctor. Richard Ayoade. He was the guy in the IT crowd.
The IT crowd.
Yeah, and he also does the new Crystal Maze. If you haven't watched it, he's pretty good. And he does be on some game shows as well, especially. He was on Countdown as well. 8 out of 10 cats do Countdown. He's highly intelligent as well. And he's a bit of a geek. So for me, he'd be a perfect geeky Doctor. And he'd actually be more of a... what Chris Chibnall tried to do in Jodie Whittaker's first episode when we seen her make her own screwdriver, but he would be more that style of Doctor.
I wouldn't want to see him I wouldn't want to see him as the Doctor. I really would. I could see him as a companion because he's kind of quirky and nerdy and whatnot, but I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't want to see him. I would want to see a guy like Jason Isaacs, because he's got gravitas and he can be serious. And I don't know if he can be quirky, but he would bring something really serious to the role. And I think right now, the last thing I want to see is more quirky crap. From the Doctor.
Right, absolutely. Actually, was it Gary and Nerdrotic always wanted Peter Dinklage to be the next Doctor?
Yeah, I've said that too, and I get made fun of for that. I get made fun of for saying that.
He's a great actor. He's a great actor. I mean, at the end of the day, as I've always said, if the actor is good enough to play the role, and I mean, he was brilliant in Game of Thrones. Choice. And to be honest with you, I don't have any problem with him playing the Doctor either. I know that the people would have some issue with that, but that's their prejudice. To be honest with you,
yeah, but he's such a good actor. That's the great thing about him. He overcomes his physicality.
He makes you forget.
Yeah, exactly. Of course he does. You don't look at that.
Right.
Don't look at that. That's not the thing.
But he's also American, so that could be other issue, and a lot of people don't.
Yeah, are we ready for an American Doctor?
Well, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to have an American accent. They could teach him. He could learn how to speak with a British accent.
Yeah, he spoke with one in Game of Thrones.
True, but Jason, the British are very when it comes to their actors, especially in their British shows,
well, I'm just saying, if he could pull off a convincing British accent, if that's possible, then maybe he might be open to it.
Did you ever see that YouTube video where they did they imagined Doctor Who as an American show, and you saw all the American doctors?
No,
you had what's the name? The guy who played Penguin as the first Doctor, I think. What's it called? Burgess Meredith. Then Dick Van Dyke as the second one.
I've seen that a long time ago.
Yeah, it's great. And he had Gene Wilder was the third Doctor.
Oh, yeah, Gene Wilder would have been amazing as the Doctor.
Raymond Williams says, I agree with Jason. AOA can act. James Murray, that was another name that was mentioned on this channel.
Oh, he's great.
And Aidan Turner will be my choice. What's Ted? Oh, Ted is climbing all over your stuff. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Tony Curran, who played Van Gogh, will be very good. He was really good in that sci-fi show. Not Deliverance. Yeah, is it called Deliverance? The one set in St. Louis. But he was very good in that.
He couldn't deal with the physicality of the role, running scenes, etc. I'm assuming you're talking about Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage, yeah.
I think that's a bit unfair to say, John. I mean, fair enough, there is running involved in Doctor Who, but I'm pretty sure the writers are clever enough nowadays to kind of get around that.
Not with Jodie. She runs like a duck.
Oh yeah, Jodie.
She runs like a clown.
She needs clown shoes.
Yeah, she still runs like a duck.
What am I thinking?
Right, we might as well get you our ratings for this. You already know what I gave it. We'll get you our ratings for Spyfall Part 2. Blue Bonnet Hoovian, what would you give this week's episode? Yeah, we make it less complicated, right?
Yeah,
just take the whole shebang, acting the story, rated out of 10. So 1 being the lowest, and obviously 10 being the highest. What would you give this?
3.
Wow, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
Jason?
Overall, I'd probably give it maybe it probably around a 2.5 or 3, somewhere in there.
Wow, that's not looking good. And I've got a funny feeling what you're going to say, Rabbi, but go ahead.
I agree with you completely. I think I was going to go for, when you said, what's the rating? In my head, I said the same number as you, 2.
2. There you go. So that's pretty low. And considering last week most of us gave it 6s and a couple of 6.5s,
right.
Is really, yeah. I don't know if I should watch this episode again.
Well, don't do it to yourself.
Don't torture yourself.
And see if I miss. I don't know, just to see if I miss something. Guys, if you would like to give me our ratings in the live chat as well, I will throw it up on the screen there. But guys, is there anything else? Okay, what he is hoping to see? I don't even know why I'm asking this question. Right. Okay, the question I will ask is this: do you think it's going to get better from here, or do you think it's going to get worse? And are you still as optimistic as you were last week?
No. I don't think it's going to get better now.
It's going to get worse. Okay, this is what I hope for the rest of the season. I hope it gets unbelievably bad. I hope we have a full-on shipping with Yaz and the Doctor. I hope it's just they double and triple down on every stupid thing humanly possible. So much so that the Britain as a country rises up and gets themselves these burning torches and storms the BBC to destroy. I was kidding. I was going to go to television though. That's going to Cardiff now. Yeah, and burn the entire production team in effigy. Obviously, don't do it in real life. And yeah, that would be my hope. My hope is it just gets. I think it's going to get bad. I hope it exceeds my expectations in all points.
Yeah.
I think the writing could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if it got really bad. I wouldn't be surprised if it got a little bit better. Yeah. But I think there's going to be a spectrum there that's not going to rise above,
I think there'll be a lot of filler episodes and then some just really bad
but
episodes.
in terms of Jodie's performance, considering there have been small flashes of I wouldn't even call it brilliance because it's not even close to,
but there has been small flashes. And
but there have been flashes of things that I would consider passable. And so the only reason I don't think that she's going to improve, I'll tell you why I don't think she's going to improve, because the point that I thought she was passable was the point when she was supposed to be deep in thought over Gallifrey and all of this.
And once that goes away.
Once that goes away and she becomes, and once once her emotions are stabilized, she's going to go back to being goofy and, the series.
And I'd like to see where this Jodie Whittaker's Doctor would go, the one that's a little bit unhinged, because she looked like she did get a little, even though I wasn't convinced by that scene, you could still see that it got to her, but I think there should have been more. As I said,
I don't think she'll maintain being rattled though. I think that was just a scene where the character was rattled, and once she gets over that and figures out what's going on, she'll return to her normal clown-like self.
Right, let's see. Daniel here says he gives it 2 out of 10. John Guggen gives it a 4, but mostly for the Gallifrey reveal. That's fair. Matt says he gives it a 3. Nicholas gives it a 3 out of 5. Well, that'd be a 3 out of 10, or maybe a 6 out of 10 if you're going for 10. It's the best of 10, but we'll just take that as where else have we got? I hate the way that jumps like that. Bad Wolf 66 says 5 out of 10. It was an improvement, but not perfect. Gary says 2 out of 10. I think Nicholas was saying I give this episode a rating of 3. I think it's 3.5 out of 10. I think that's what he meant. If not, correct me if I'm wrong there. I forgot your name already because I'm very bad with names. So I have bleeding Alzheimer's at this stage. Nicholas. That's what happens when you watch Doctor Who.
It kills brain cells.
It actually makes you stupid. It used to make you intelligent and excited, but now it actually makes you dumb. Let me see. Any more the people? Raymond says it gives it a 4. Peter D gives it a 2 out of 10. There's a lot of 2s and a lot of 3s. There's a couple of high ones there, which is fair enough. I think that is most of those high ratings, if people are honest with themselves, are probably from the whole Gallifrey reveal. Someone put up, I have to put this comment up. I wouldn't normally, but I think this is funny.
Yes, that's definitely true.
And but see, this is the thing. It's actually not far from the truth at all, and that's what the sad thing about it is.
Capaldi's thoughts were very layered and complex.
Yeah, whereas Jodie's are one-dimensional.
Yeah, they're kind of like just balloons. Yeah.
And
you could put a blonde wig on a rock, and you'd probably end up with a better actor than.
Yeah.
I thought you were giving it a rating out of 5, not 10. No, it's out of 10. So if you gave it a 3 out of 5, I'm assuming 6 out of 10 would be your rating for it. If not, Jane gives it a 3 out of 10. Only that high for the Gallifrey element. Yeah, I think that's what will happen. Oh yeah, what's that?
That's my rating.
Oh, that's your rating. And the wife gives it, because to be fair and balanced, Cheryl has made sure that I get this out there. Cheryl's giving it a 7 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. As I said, Cheryl liked it a lot. Obviously, I didn't like it as much as I did last week. But the music, let's talk again. Yeah, I just want to mention the music again. Same music again. Has he? I don't know what's wrong with him. Does he not know how to make new music?
There was music in this?
Yeah, there was a little bit in the background. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Does that just say it all?
There, Leland puts it. There's what Leland said. The music video, he did convey way more emotion without speaking a word.
Well, wouldn't it be interesting if you went to where they record the music and you saw they put the mic underwater, and you went underwater and you could really hear what it's supposed to sound like, and it's like, oh, it's a wonderful, rich soundtrack, rather than just a.
Yeah, we need Murray Gold back, but I don't know if we want to waste him in this era
back.
anyway. No,
I wouldn't bring Murray back as long as Chibnall.
No, of course not. But I'm saying, But at least that would be something, though.
Yeah, it'd be something bit. Yeah, we need Murray Gold big time. But even his music wouldn't save this.
No, nothing's gonna save this.
Well, I will say the TARDIS house, the Master's TARDIS house, going through that time vortex was actually pretty good.
Cool.
And I will say one thing about Chris Chibnall and his creative team. When it comes to the new time vortex that they've done, I actually like it. I like it better than the ones that we've had before. I do like that tunnel kind of thing going on.
One we've had from them. The one they had last year was very different.
You
remember, it was like veins, and you're going from one vein to another. Yeah. This one's much better. This one's much more like a Colin Baker rainbow effect.
Yeah, I liked it. I actually did like it. See, as I said, he gives you some things in this that are not too bad, but I don't know. The only thing that I'm thinking about when I think about this episode is that last 15 minutes. I actually let out a scream when I seen Gallifrey being destroyed.
And you know what? He put that in there just so there's something from the Tennant years that people would recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And it was even but you know what I loved about the scene when the Master actually told her it was me. I forgot to tell you though, it was me. I was like, oh my God, he's a cold-hearted bastard. Excuse me, language. we have to drop an F-bomb in there once in a while because this isn't for kids. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought, see, Sasha was the highlight in this episode for me. Graham, Bradley Walsh, yeah, it was a bit silly. It did kind of annoy because it was silly, and that's the only thing they gave him to do, really. But I did love the fact that he got a giggle out of it himself every time he used the shoes.
Right, right. You could see him enjoying the
yeah, he was actually enjoying it. Like, and I did love the part where Yaz tells him to shoot the laser at the spinny silver. What did they call a silver?
It was a silver lady, or
yeah. When that starts, and he tried to, it's not working. It won't work. It was brilliant.
And like, what was the whole point of that silver lady?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
And they got to be bringing that back to explain it somehow.
It looks talking like about that figure?
Yeah, the master created.
The figure was used to channel those creatures into that dimension.
And the master made that.
Why was it this weird marionette of a woman that it was like made out of like?
Yeah, it wasn't revealed the reason, but it was used to channel those creatures.
There are columns that they're putting up, so this rumor is actually flying about. So he put up, according to this new rumor, it was the doctor in the master's body who knew. Oh no, that's because I said it, isn't it? I'm getting it. Yeah. So that's basically what we're saying. Yeah, that's what this rumor is true. That's what that rumor is saying. Yeah. So according to this, it was the doctor in the master's body who nuked Gallifrey. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know. Do you know what? I'll do a video on the information when I kind of. Cheryl is good at this stuff. I'll show her the information and she'll know exactly what they mean and she'll explain it to me in a way that I'll be able to explain it to you. But all I know is that the master, that's Sasha, right? His personality. That's the best way to put it. So Sasha's personality as the master should be in Jodie Whittaker's body, and the doctor's personality that's in Jodie Whittaker right now should be in Sasha's body. So they've basically swapped personalities or something or whatever. So
consciousness.
Yeah. Do you think they know that they've been swapped or not?
Like a Freaky Friday sort of situation. Yes. So that's what they're thinking. I know it doesn't make sense, but if this is the way they're going to go to kind of explain why Jodie Whittaker isn't the doctor, I'm down for it.
They can't have known that they swapped bodies at this point, obviously.
That's why I think he knows, because that's what he said to Jodie.
Oh, what you know is all been lies. Yeah.
Maybe he knows, and that's why he nuked Gallifrey, because he knows the truth. Something happened somewhere along the way. This has got to do with the classic era. This is going to be a throwback to the classic era somehow, and I think it's got to do with Pertwee's regeneration. It's probably going to link into that.
Could be. Yeah, he's big into I'll have to wait and see.
Who, Chibnall's into Pertwee?
Yeah, he always dresses like Pertwee. He's always got that leather, that velvet jacket on.
I just can't see that, but you know.
I know that is far-fetched, but that could actually, be good.
It'll be interesting if that turns out to be true. It'll be interesting to see what mechanism they're using to facilitate that swap, because that's really the golden the golden question is, how would something like that ever occur?
Exactly. Because remember, didn't the Watcher, was it, or the Guardian or whatever it was, didn't that Time Lord help the Pertwee's regeneration? Do you remember? And there's always been speculation whether Pertwee's doctor actually was a true doctor. That's been floating about the family.
Because the Time Lord chose that face.
No, stop.
But we're getting into all sorts of.
You mean because the Time Lords, basically chose the face for him?
Could be. Could be.
Yeah, we're going down the rabbit hole now, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait. Right, guys. I suppose we could go on all night, but there's no point really.
No, what else are you going to say?
I've said all we've had to say, and I'm assuming you will all do your individual reviews as well.
Right.
I'll look forward to them as well, guys. The only reason why I kind of haven't done an individual review is because I'm just going to wait until the end of the series to do a whole complete review, to be quite honest with you.
You're a brave and strong man,
anyway, because I'm on the panel anyway. You kind of know my feelings towards this anyway. And everybody that's seeing me tonight, seeing me, I'm just right now, I'm in shock. I just don't know where he's going with this. Forget about the rumor, right, that we just talked about. But even where he's got, I just don't know where he's going with this.
He probably doesn't even know where he's going with this.
He probably doesn't.
And you know what, Jason? That is what scares me. That is what scares me, because Moffat started to do the same thing. He would go down somewhere and then he wouldn't know how to resolve it. And this is the problem that I have with Chibnall, because he's not even at the level of Moffat. If he gets this wrong, it's going to be wrong spectacularly. It's going to bomb. That's the problem.
Yeah, I just think they'll be able to fix whatever, and it's like over time they'll just be able to fix whatever somehow.
Right, it'll pass.
Yeah, this too will pass.
Hopefully, and maybe we'll see if I can find out anything about this timeless child thread and see where it's going.
Yeah,
and hopefully I'll be able to give you a bit of information on this. Actually, I should be getting back in touch with me sources again and start poking them with a stick and see if there's anything new they can give me. Because this, as I said, and this is one thing that is true, this series is going to be very interesting to review. It's going to be very interesting to watch, because we don't know where he's going, and I really don't know what he's doing with this whole Gallifrey thing, and this timeless child thread is coming back up again. I'm scared to think where he's going with it. I have my suspicions.
I think it's the Nerdrotic rumor.
Yeah, which, if it's that rumor, then it's done, and it doesn't matter what they do, it's done. And I mean,
the good thing about that if that rumor comes to pass, the majority of fandom will turn away from Doctor Who. Will turn away from the Chibnall Doctor Who. The J-bots will be more isolated.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's really the only upside.
Right, guys.
I'm going to bed. It's gone 2:00 for me over here.
Right, do me a favor before you go. Give your channel a shout out, and if one of me moderators is actually in the live chat, could you do us a favor? Because I can only see the live chat on StreamYard. I'm actually not on the YouTube chat. If you could do me a favor and put up all the links to all the YouTubers that are on the panel, I appreciate it. But while you're here, do us a favor, give your channel a shout out, and then Blue Bonnet, you can give your channel a shout out directly after.
Okay. I'm just Blue Bonnet Whovian. I'm just doing Doctor Who reviews, so just various sci-fi television show reviews at this point, and Doctor Who merchandise reviews.
Nice. And the Rabbi from Another Universe, go ahead.
Hi, I just put my link in the chat. It's YouTube/C/SvilaBetkin, TZVILEVETKN. I do about 2 videos a day. Right now, I'm doing giveaways for the entire run of this series of Doctor Who. The one I'm doing right now is a 2 DVD box set, Dalek War. Yeah. Oh, these are great stories, by the way. So Frontier in Space and Planet of Daleks. John Pertwee, 4 DVDs. All you have to do to win it is subscribe to the channel, like and share the video with the hashtag Dalek War. Everything's in the notes for every video. I'm going to do the first polling. I'm going to do the first search for the hashtag next week, and I'll send it off to you. And then I got a whole stack of DVDs I'm giving away.
That's cool.
Nice one. Right, listen, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure. Jason, thank you for joining again.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure having you on. if you're available again next week, you're more than welcome to come on. Blue Bonnet, that goes for you too, because I know you said after the second week you'd have to check your schedule.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's on a Sunday, I'm good. It's hopefully I can get. Hopefully, the next episode is not too bad, so I can continue watching it.
Nice one, right? So I'll have you on the panel next week, obviously for that, and I'll have your good self, sir, the Rabbi. I'll have you on as well if you're
great. Love to come.
Right, so we have our tournament panel then, Blue Bonnet Hoovian and the Rabbi from another universe, and obviously Jason, if you want to become part of that tournament panel, then all good. And if you want to be a guest on the panel, a weekly guest on the panel, we'll bring on a different weekly guest. If you would like to be a weekly guest on the panel, get in touch with me on Twitter, Facebook, or Messenger. You know where to get in contact with me. Anyway, guys, listen, thanks very much for joining me. I will talk to you all very, very soon, and look forward to your reviews. Have a good week.
All right. Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Rory. Thanks.
Bye.
I hope you recover from tonight's episode in time for next week's. But it's going to be a very interesting day tomorrow for us all. So maybe we'll have a bit of a chat tomorrow when the ratings come out.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and then I'll obviously have a video, because I'll have to do one on the ratings, obviously, because, which I will be doing. That's the one thing I actually will say I will be doing. So after the ratings come out, you will have my thoughts on the ratings, as I did for the first video. So that's the only thing I'll discuss, because I'll do the main review of this series after series 12. So, yeah. Right, guys, thanks for joining me.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Bye. Bye. And there we go, guys. Right, so tomorrow we have Daniel on the panel, and we have the Nerdaholics. So I hope that you will all join me for tomorrow's panel. I hope you have enjoyed this stream. If you could do me a favor, because right now, maybe it's because of the Spyfall video, it's finally caught up on Facebook, but I got a bit of a Facebook ban because of the Spyfall information. So if you could do me a favor and post this stream onto every Doctor Who YouTube channel you're on that actually, that actually does New Who era, I'd really appreciate that. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and all that other stuff. I see Jason Howell has given it a 2 out of 10. Thank you. Thank you to Chris as well, and all my other moderators for moderating tonight. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Remember, Nerdaholics and Daniel will be on tomorrow, and I will have a video, obviously, on those ratings when they come out. So I'll talk to you all very, very soon. Have a good week, and as I said, see you soon. Bye.